Yeah,
I didn't give any balls in between the lessons. It was just today, here's something that will change your life. Tomorrow, here's the next thing that'll change your life. Here's the third thing that'll change your life. And here's the thing that you must do immediately. And here's the thing. And we did 3 90-day runs. Right? So what I hope is that you have enough notes, because I gave you 4 years worth of homework. Right? So I don't need you to have a book. I need you to have results. So in my own spirit of plan, do, review. That's why I put together this breakthrough boot camp. It's like, okay, look, I'm going to give you a very specific, easy to do thing that if you just follow instructions, turn your brain off, just breathe, do that one thing and do it for a week. And then come back a week later. I'm going to give you all the time in the world to go do that while you're closing your month. You're starting your month. You're doing this. You're doing that. Then you're like, what did you learn from that? How do you need to clarify? If you didn't take action, why? You know, we could talk about all that. Say, all right, now ready? Now I'm going to add the next thing. Okay. So that's why. Like if you're stuck, I can help you get unstuck in your head with recruiting and with duplication. But that's why we said we're just going to do it once a week. It's not going to be overwhelming. We're going to give you tools. We're going to give you scripts. We're going to give you very specific assignments. And we're going to go on a deep dive with you. And if you feel stuck or just underperforming to your expectations in your life and your business, this will be delivered virtually around the world. Everybody, if you haven't got off the ground the way you want to, if you don't have the fundamental skills the way you want to, I hope you join us. We're going to start in January. I'm going to start giving you a few little preparation things in December. Those of you who sign up, I'd love to help you. My goal is for your breakthrough. I just want you to have a little skin in the game. I'm going to be there every week. Okay. I just need you to have a little skin in the game and let's go to work. Okay. So out of curiosity, how many here in the room or how many people at home are planning on being part of that breakthrough boot camp that we talked about? Raise your hands if you're in the room. Raise them high. Let me see. And put a number 1 in the chat if you have or you're planning on it. Just out of curiosity. Great. Wonderful. Super proud of you. And here's the thing. Contribution doesn't work unless it turns into results. I'm addicted to your results. I want to see you go where you've always wanted to go in this business. Okay. So beyond leadership,
$7 million of income a year.
When I look back at all the different things that I've done,
$10,000 is a drop in the bucket, but
over the course of the last 10 years or so, beyond leadership has been just nuts. The number of 6 and 7 figure earners that came out of that is crazy. Just crazy. People came in and they got a framework to be able to, maybe they're not a big earner yet, but they got some fundamental skills and they just need to become a great leader. Right. So what I want to do, and I can do, I can't do it if you're just trying to buy success and spend 10 grand to come into that program. And I just want to buy a high income. I want to buy leadership. It's like, you go look at my gym. If I could have bought fitness, I'd have bought it.
I want to spend 10 grand to get.
I got all of this shit in there, man. And it's a little dusty, some of it. I've got like a red light therapy bed for 130 grand. I've been in it like 6 times. So it's like 20 grand per use so far. I got oxygen therapy next to the cardio. You'll see at the house when you come to the house. I said, I got all the stuff, man. But you can't buy fitness. You can't buy leadership. right? You gotta have some fundamental skills first. So what Beyond Leadership is about is somebody who's paid a little bit of a price and learned some fundamental skills. And if you come in with that, I can help you become an effective leader in 4 days. Okay? I can give you very specific, and I'll give you a taste of it tomorrow. As much as I can, you know, I'd give you all of it if I could, but as much as I can in the time that we have, I will talk to you about what needs to happen for you to become a more effective leader. But in those 4 days, I'm excited about this because of the success that it's had in the past. So if you're not currently a $250,000 plus earner, I would have you just hold on for a second. We have a leadership conversation we need to have tomorrow morning. Let me tell you what's going to happen tomorrow morning. If you're 250 plus, who's 250 plus in the room? Okay, I need you all here at 8 o'clock. We start at 8 a.m. It's very, very important. 1 hour. Same thing for people who are 250 plus around the world. I'm going to give you a summary of what we talked about in the CEO Summit 3 days ago, 2 days ago, whatever it was, Wednesday, whatever day that was, with $40 billion worth of revenue represented in this studio, as far as what is working, what is not working, what are the trends, what do we need to do, how do we need to partner up. But what I want to talk about more than anything tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. is how to develop a leadership factory within your organization. Real, true leaders, not earners. Big difference between earners and leaders. Real leaders in depth. Real leaders that don't need to. Real leaders independent. Real leaders producing. Real leaders developing. Okay? Take yourself off of loading it all up on you and having real leadership in duplication, multiplication, exponential, real leadership. We're going to talk about how exactly to make that happen. That's tomorrow morning. If you're not at 250 and you have some basic skills, then you're hungry, I implore you, go to Beyond Leadership. Take that step, come back here. I don't care if you came from New Zealand. I don't care if you came from South Africa. It's worth coming back here in February, spend 4 days with me. Deep dive. It's not going to be delivered virtually at all. Okay? It's for serious people and it will sell out. There's max room for 400 people around the world. And I know organizations that are bringing a lot of people into that group. So how many, put a 2 in the chat if you've made a decision you want to do that. Or in the room, how many of you are considering yourself a Beyond Leadership candidate? Yeah.
All
right, fantastic.
Like the,
Wonderful.
or the
Wonderful, wonderful. All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a little bit of a summary of, and I may start later this afternoon on some of these leadership topics because there's so much. But this session is going to be on duplication. We're going to have a panel, and then we'll see how far I can get with this. But here's what I want to try and cover: the difference between earners and leaders, the leadership gap in your companies and in your organization, how to effectively manage momentum, very important topic. How do you manage momentum? Momentum is actually a very violent and destructive thing. It's what we all want. How many of you have ever been in momentum?
I mean, I don't hate it.
Tell me what has happened on the other side of it.
But like burnout.
How did it feel on the other side of momentum? Were there negative consequences? Were there unintended consequences? Was there weakness created in the field? Was there dysfunction? Was there bad habits? Was there trauma? Overreaction? Bad culture? All kinds of issues. So I want to teach you specifically, if you're not in momentum right now, if you're in momentum, how many are in momentum right now? Raise your hands. If you're in momentum.
think so.
I want to
Guys,
prepare
I
you
think I am. I'm
Yeah.
glad that
to
the end
not
of the month-
have the negative consequence.
It's not momentum like I've got.
Because you can prepare properly to be able to manage it. If you're not in momentum, momentum's gonna come. We don't know how, we don't know exactly why. It never fits a pattern, but when it does show up, I want you to be prepared. I'm gonna give you a preparation, like survival kit, a momentum survival training of how do you manage while you're growing straight up. Now, if you're in a plateau or a decline, which many companies are in a bit of a plateau or decline after pandemic, I want to teach you how to climb out of that. There's also a specific playbook for that, exactly step by step, how to recreate
I
your
wanna know what he
momentum
does.
if you don't have it at the moment.
If
So I'm gonna be talking about that as
if
well.
I was behind him, I would be like this. Like, that's.
How to
Oh, yeah.
recognize and
Like
fix
waving,
field
smiling.
dysfunction. If there's dysfunction within your organization, if there's bad habits, if there's bad behavior happening within your organization, how to recognize it and fix it, how to strengthen your company culture, the attributes of a true field leader, how to identify potential future leaders, how to communicate with the field, field KPIs, key performance indicators, campaigns and challenges that work, field systems, retention thoughts, product enhancement thoughts, how to effectively navigate change, how to improve your events and how to help your company improve their events. What you need to know in terms of regulatory compliance, launch strategies, brand enhancement, global expansion thoughts, and current trends on what's working around the world right now. That's all. I just want to try and cover that.
Is this what he's covering?
No, but between today and tomorrow, I want to cover as much of that as I can. Okay, as much as I possibly can. It will feel a little bit like a fire hose. Take as much notes as you can. I can't get you all the way there today and tomorrow, but I can give you a roadmap. So when your brain is full, your mind is full, you're thinking about other stuff, make sure you get the notes, because later you can go back and look at it and say, okay, I'm gonna focus on this thing now. You know, find the little thing that can get the big return, like the conversation blitz that we did. Little thing, big return. Okay, so we're gonna talk about all that. Does it sound good?
Sure.
Yeah? All right, cool. Got so many notes. I suffer from information overload between my ears.
That's a great way to say
Too much stuff rolling around in my head.
I just learned a trick. You can extend your phone. You can extend your arm. How do you do that? Do what?
All right, let's start with this.
Oh, like the side of her phone.
Oh, instead of going like
The
that.
little things. It's not-
Buying time. If you want to have more duplication, you need to understand the value of buying time. You understand what I mean?
Aw. You took me a picture, but
Buying
I was gonna
time.
take a picture. You took me.
What do I mean by that? We want to be able to bring somebody into our business and keep them as close to the flyer as possible. As long as possible. You want to have more duplication? Take it back. Oversimplestic way. Bring somebody in, keep them close,
Wait,
and keep them close for as long as you possibly can.
And you could have just been.
Because if you can keep them close, eventually they'll do some of the activities. And if you keep them close, eventually they're gonna make a decision. So I want to ask all of you,
Well, right, I mean.
when you joined your company,
Hit button and then run back.
how long did it take before you said, you know what? I'm gonna really do this. I'm gonna go hard. Yours was one day.
Yeah, not a good picture.
Yours was a
I
year,
have it.
and then he was one day. All right, well, you were very persuasive, I'm sure, after the year. But it took a year for you before you said, I'm doing it, for real. All right, so you're just hanging around.
Well, I went to convention.
How long?
5 months.
5 years. Who else?
And by then,
2 years? 3 years?
5 months for sure.
3 months? 8 months,
I don't know, once I got.
4 years,
so there's that
3 months,
second month.
2 months, 1 day? And you've been annoyed with everybody else ever since, right? Because why are they not just making a decision? You did it in 1 day, why are they not doing it in 1 day? It's annoying, right?
It took
Who
me
else?
2 years, I'm still annoyed.
A year?
People don't do it.
2 months, 2 years, 8 years? For what? 4 years.
Like start the business after starting.
Hold on.
No,
I
I
think-
take it more serious.
Yeah.
Okay.
But before I went to an event, I didn't go to an event yet. I tried to pay this woman to quit. And then she said, you don't get it. It's geometric progression of people helping people come to this event when they watch. Right when I sat in that event, I saw the math and I said, this mathematical equation is guaranteed to work. Let's go.
I gotta add, I have to add to that. So my first event, when I decided, was in September with our company. My second event was December GoPro.
So Lori, how long did it take you before you decided? A month, all right? Any other numbers? What was yours? 2 years? 2 weeks? 2 weeks? 1 day? Jeff,
I started to provide school too.
a month,
And then I did after-
For what?
after I
4
started-
years, 5 years. Now are you seeing a spread here? Everything from 1 day to 8 years is what I heard.
No,
in
I
this,
don't think
and
that,
All of you are all over the place. So what do we have to do? In order, before the penny drops, you know what I mean by that? Like you hang around, you hang around, you hang around, you hang around, the penny drops, typically at an event. How many of you made a decision at an event that said, okay, I'm gonna do it? If you weren't at that event, it certainly was gonna be longer. Maybe not at all. Leaders are born at events. Remember this. You want to create more duplication on your team? Just move heaven and earth to get them to an event. Anything you have to do to get them to see a bigger picture. They can tell a story you can't tell. So events buy time. So the penny drops, right? I was working in the business, but I hadn't really
So normal in Ohio.
made a decision. I was, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go to the top. I see it. I see other people are doing it. Why not me? So on average, just so you know, an average around the world is about 9 months. They join, they use the product, they're hanging around, making a few bucks, but they haven't burned the bridges. They haven't, they still got 1 foot in their other world. If it doesn't work out, if somebody hurts their feelings, whatever, they could be gone. So we have to buy 9 months. How do we buy 9 months? Well, a launch, the crucial conversation, if you do it properly, should buy you at least 30 days. Okay, crucial conversation will buy you at least 30 days. Like, all right, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. They got their assignment, they got their this, they're trying the product, they're doing all the different things, they joined at the highest rank, all of those things. Everything that I mentioned in that crucial conversation is meant to buy just a little bit of time. If you don't do the crucial conversation, guess how much you have? It's like 72 hours. No, it's like an egg timer, man. I mean, it's literally like a premature baby was given birth. They're 7 weeks premature, and you don't put them in an incubator and watch them 24/7. They're not going to make it. You need specialists to make sure that those premature children are going to make it to viability. Same thing in our business. You just bring them in and just wish the best for them. Boy, you better hope that they get a little encouragement somehow, somewhere in that first 72 hours, first 7 days max. If they don't get something, Do you know when a person joins your business typically? Do you think they join because they want to join your mission to change the world? Do you think they join because, you know what? I've been looking for a career change. Do you think they join for that? No. They might stay for that, for both of those things. But here's why they join. Here's the moment they join. You're doing the presentation with them, and they're going, I can think of somebody else that might do this. Oh, that's a good idea. Oh, there's my crazy friend at work that's always has catalogs in the break room. I could talk to the crazy work friend. Oh, I got the neighbor who's always has some new thing. My brother would be amazing. My brother would crush this thing. Oh, you remember, crazy entrepreneurial Sally? So they get this little mental checklist, right? It's the reason why testimonials are so valuable when you're doing a presentation. So you can show as many different walks of life. And guess what those testimonials do? It creates a candidate list in somebody's mind. They're not telling you this. They're acting logical. Tell me more about the sweetener. They're thinking about, do I know anybody? Do I know anybody? Do I know anybody? Tell me more about the compensation plan. They're thinking, do I know anybody?
Right.
Do I know anyone? Do I know anyone? Can I take my risk and pass it off to somebody else and maybe get lucky? So it looks like this. That's what it looks like. You sign up a brand new person, they bought a lotto ticket. What does it cost to join your business? $400. They bought a $400 lotto ticket. How about your business? $300 lotto ticket. And they have 5 candidates here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once they get about 5 in their head, they go, you know what? I probably know more than that, but 5's enough. That should eliminate my risk. That should get my investment back. $500 here, take it. You think you got a new entrepreneur. Nope. You have a gambler. That's what you have. They bought a scratch off ticket.
I told you it wouldn't go well.
And they go to their first crazy friend that's always passing out catalogs in the lunchroom at work. And they say, you want to do this, don't you? And they're saying, you crazy? Catalog business is the only way to go. Scratch it off. It doesn't work. It's like, oh man, I thought for sure. You go to your neighbor. Neighbor says, no, you nuts. Go to your brother. You're gonna do this, right? I said, you crazy. Go to your mom. Mom, please. They're like, mom says, I told you, no more. You end up going to the 5th person. And like every time you scratch one of these off, you're like, oh, and if any of them's mean at you, you won't even scratch off the rest. And if you scratch off the rest, you kind of do it like quick and without any compassion or skill or anything. You don't introduce them to anybody. You don't do a high quality presentation. You're just saying, hey, I got this thing. You probably don't want to do it, do you? And they're like, yeah, I probably don't. All right, thanks, fine, whatever. But once they cross off 5, here's what they say. Network marketing doesn't work. Network marketing doesn't work. So what do you do with a lotto ticket? No, you don't just throw it away. You tear it up. Stupid lotto. Mega Millions. Told me I was gonna, product sells itself. I'm not buying this shit. So stupid. Network marketing doesn't work. They throw it away. Then when the next person comes to them and says, hey, I got this network marketing, they say, please, Don't even. I've been there. I've done it. I talk to every person I know. No one wants to buy this product. Nobody wants to buy this opportunity. Network marketing doesn't even work. It's a scam. It's just the people selling the lotto tickets make all the money. Right? I want you to think. Do you know why you're here? Those of you watching at home, I want you to be honest with me. How many of you at home, at least one of the first 5, you got something? They either were encouraging to you, or they joined as a customer, or they said, go get it, or maybe they joined your business. How many of you had at least one out of your 5 give you something, encouragement? How many here in the room? 1 out of your 5. So here's what I would tell you. Not everybody.
And then my mother.
Sometimes your ambition's enough
Yeah.
to be able to go. But most people, they gotta get something. That's why the crucial conversation is so important. To let them know this is not a lotto ticket. To let them know that this thing's for real. Let them know that there's some steps to take and there's help that can be provided. There's a plan here in order to be able to create a new business. So we're buying time, and it's different kind of variables of time. First is you got to get them through week 1. That's going to be your crucial conversation and help them get a result somehow. And sometimes we're leaving it to people who have no skill, no mindset, no ability. They have contacts. We have skill, we have ability. You want real duplication, I will tell you something. Sometimes you're asking for it a little too quick. So let me tell you something that might hurt your head, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. Every person on your team, active or inactive, is worth at least $10,000 a year to you in commissions. Say it again. Every person on your team, whether they are active or inactive, is worth at least $10,000 per year to you. And you're saying, well, how's that possible? They're not going to give it to you. You have to go get it. Entrepreneurs have to go get it. See, some people, now I want you to do the math. How many people do you have on your team, active or inactive? And I want you to times it times 10,000, and I want you to write the number down. Write the number down. Because it's there. It's available. I'm not kidding. Some people, when you recruit them, they're a destination. They're the prize. But other people are a doorway to the prize. They're not the 10,000, but they'll lead you to the 10,000. So guess what? When an amateur shows up as a destination or a doorway, a professional has to step in and go get it. You got to go talk to the people. You have to go say, who can we get on the phone with? You have to go, who can I meet? Who can you introduce me to? Who can we go have lunch with? Some of these people, we're going so fast, bringing in so many recruits that we're not digging at all. You're asking for duplication from premature birth babies. It's going to be a while before they have any babies. You're going to have to step into the breach, bring your skills, bring your expertise, schedule a million Zooms, talk to all their people. They provide the people, you provide the presentation. You bring the wisdom, you bring the belief, you bring the energy. If they're a doorway, fine. You know how rare it is for the frontline person that you sponsor to be the star? Pretty rare. If they're a dud, doesn't matter. They just need to be a doorway to a few people. They don't need to be a doorway to the world. Just open the door to somebody a little bit better than you. Who's the sharpest person you know? Get out of the way. Let me talk to that person. They're a connector for you at the beginning. And in the process, while you're doing this, it's tell, show, try, do. Tell, show, try, do. Hopefully you'll help them become independent. But if they don't, it doesn't matter, because you're going to find somebody that's worth $10,000 a year in that line and mentor them into leadership. Mentor them into duplication. You see what I mean? So we're going so fast on new enrollments, and we're not going as quality into the people that we brought into the organization. If you want to have more duplication, you want to have a more solid organization, you got all you can eat right now. You're thinking that you got to recruit a whole bunch more super fast. Just understand, we got to bring them in, go to work, have them introduce you to the world. Here's the deal. Let me just give you an example. Let's say I don't know anyone. Here's Eric. He knows no one. He just moved to a new country. Sandro, where do you live? Switzerland. Let's say I figure out a way, I get dropped into Switzerland. I don't know anybody, don't know the 7 languages that they speak. But I meet Sandro. He speaks good English. Nice to meet you. Sandro's right here. Sandro's busy. What was your business prior to network marketing, Sandro? An IT consultant. Perfect candidate for network marketing. Wouldn't you agree? IT consultant. It wouldn't be your like natural candidate, right? But I say, Sandro, listen, you know people. I have a business. Can you introduce me to a few people? Who's influential? Who's moving around? How many people, how many friends do you have on Facebook, Sandro, prior to network marketing? 200. Sandro, can you introduce me to your 200? One at a time. I don't care if it's a 10-minute Zoom. Introduce me to 5. Doesn't need to be 200. 5 that could use an opportunity, 5 that are ambitious, 5 that are entrepreneurial. I'll make it worth your time. You know, you help me expand into that market. Let me provide what I know, you provide the bridge. Let's say we go talk to those 5, and because Sandro's a good guy, influential guy, how many of the 5 do you think we could get, Sandro? 5. Wonderful. So we get 5 people here. How many people do you think they know on average? A couple hundred each? 200 each, all right. Now I can talk to 1,000 people. All I had to do is find one. This can fill up my calendar. These 5 can fill up my calendar more than I have the ability to have conversations. If I do 10-minute Zooms, that's 6 an hour. In 8 hours, I can do what, 48 conversations a day? Plus breakfast, plus lunch, plus a dinner, you know, gathering, get together. Within a week, I could talk to 300 of them. In a month, I can talk to all 1,000. If I get them some results, they're going to be trying to figure out how to put stuff into my calendar as fast as possible. In person or Zoom, doesn't matter. Out of those 1,000, how many do you think from these 5 we can get to join? Be conservative. 30? 5 out of 5, because Sandro introduced me to 5 out of his 200, but he's an influential guy. Fine. These 5, maybe they're not as influential, but they can introduce me to these people. We go get 30. Let's say those 30 each know 200. What's 30 times 200? Huh? 6,000. You don't have to be real smart to make a lot of money here. All I needed to do was find one person. Now I want you to take this Sandro example times every person who's ever joined your team. How much value are you leaving on the table? How many people are you not being introduced to that you should be? We're signing up all these people and saying some will, some won't, so what, next. And we're walking away from 10,000 people that are good prospects. Yeah? So sometimes, one thing I'm going to suggest that you do, and this is, I'll skip ahead to leadership tomorrow. Here's a suggestion. You want to have how many want to have the best 2024 you ever had in your life? How many people would be willing to work harder in this month of December than you ever have in order to have the best 2024 ever? All right. Here's what I'm going to suggest as you leave here. And I'd love for it to start the moment you land back at home, wherever home is for you. Okay? Take a deep inventory of your existing team. Anybody who joined with an intention to build at any point, I want you to take a deep inventory. This is not a group message. This is not a group Facebook Live. This is not a group text. It's not a group email. It's not group nothing. I want you to send an individual message to every single one that you possibly can and say, listen, before this 2024 starts, I want to have a 15-minute Zoom with you. Can we just talk for 15 minutes? I've always believed that you could crush. And I think I have some ideas for how you can make this next year your best year. I might be wrong, but in any case, let's connect for 15 minutes. Okay? Fill your calendar. You do 8 hours a day, that's 32 a day. But in a 5-day week, you can do what's 5 times 32? 162, yeah? 160? 160. If you do 6 days a week, it's 192, yeah? 192 people that you can take inventory, take a pulse. You joined this thing for a reason. Is that reason still alive or is it dead? Maybe you didn't get the support. Maybe you didn't get the help. Maybe you didn't know what the plan was. Maybe life got in the way. Maybe you went through a difficult time. I don't know what it is. But if there was a plan and we did it together, I've always believed in you. Or I've seen you in the organization. Or I've seen you here and there. Whatever. Come up with your list of 5 questions to ask them over the course of 15 minutes. I promise you, this is the conversation some of these people have been waiting for their entire lives. They've been waiting for somebody like you to reach down and believe in them. Because they feel invisible. They feel like they're just a number. And when somebody of your prestige, your character, your success reaches down and says, I've heard about you. I see you. I want to help you. Do you want to do it with me? You in or you out? And look, no pressure. If you don't want to, it's fine. I hope you have the happiest of holidays. And if you're ever ready, this is my number. Just let me know. Raise your hand and let me know. But if you want to make this next 12 months your best 12 months, I have a plan. And I'm not going to give it to you in these 15 minutes. We'll set up another call for that, for the other people, because I'm having some conversations to find out who's going to run with me, who I'm going to put at my hip and teach them everything that I know. Who am I gonna help to duplicate what I've learned how to do? Who am I gonna help? I'm looking for the next 6-figure earner. I'm looking for the next 7-figure earner. I'm looking for the next superstar. And nobody's maybe ever picked you out of a lineup to play a game in school. But I'm picking you out of a lineup right now. You in or you out? That's all I need to know. You will be stunned. The visceral and emotional response you're going to get from this group of people, not the usual suspects that you've been trying to motivate for the last 3 years. You got to go past those people. You got to go all the way down. I would start with active, and when you're done with active, go to some of the inactive. Just test it out. You join, but then you stop. Why? I'm just curious. Here's my plan. Here's my vision. Here's where I'm going. You want to do it with me or not? Deep inventory. Find out what you have to work with. Now, when you're in momentum, it's a lot of people. So you got to be developing more people on your team to do the same thing. You got to be checking in with your leadership team 15 minutes a day and say, oh, hey, how many yesterday? What happened? How many today? Give me a number, give me a number, give me a number, give me a number, give me a number. All right, we'll check in tomorrow. You can take an inventory of your entire team. If you step into leadership, you can do it in the month of December, and you'll know exactly what you have to work with. And then you can give those people exact assignments. You understand the power of this? 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes. You will not, for those of you with organizations, will not find something that will get you a higher return than this. Now, I'm not a big believer in raising the dead, but I am a big believer in taking inventory in places that maybe were underserved to just see, just find out. Do you have big dreams or not? Are you willing, coachable, and hungry? That's all I need to know. If you're those 3 things and you want to lock arms, I have a plan. If you can give me those 3 things, we'll do it together. You can be close to the fire. You could be part of something special. Okay? So I just want you to think about, first of all, I want you to think about every person on your team times 10,000 a year. It's real number. Every single person times 10,000 years. Stupid number, right? Crazy, ridiculous number, unrealistic number. Of course not. Think about somebody who really engaged. How much are they worth to you per year? Well, think about somebody in your team that really engaged. How much do you earn on that person a year? The most engaged person. How much? Couple 100,000. Couple 100,000. So if it's somebody like Giordano, a couple 100,000. Okay. We all met Giordano. He's not that amazing. It's more than 200. But it might be somebody that opens up a whole country. It might be somebody that has been bullied and pushed around their whole life, and they're just looking for somebody to believe in them. I'm just telling you. Do this, small group or big. You're like, I only have 5 people on my team and I only have 1 active. Perfect. Let's start with those 5. Reach out, tell them you believe in them. Let them know you have some different skills now. Let's go make this happen. You in or you out. Now, if you don't have anybody, find one. Find one. And then say, well, I've got some skills. You got some. What's that song? I've got the brains, you've got the looks. Let's go make lots of money. Yeah. It's your favorite song? I've got the brains, you got the connections. Let's go make lots of money. You have that conversation with another Sandro. You don't prejudge that an IT consultant. Would an IT consultant be good at cosmetics and perfumes? Perfect fit? Nope, not a perfect fit. He's only making $7 million a year in 3 years. No big deal. No big deal. Now, is everybody gonna be one of those? No. Can you find a totally overwhelmed single mom that says, if you can show me how to buy some of my time back, I am in. Because I can't handle much more of this. 15 minutes, plant the vision, give them a game plan. We start the duplication process with them, okay? Buying time. So will this inventory, you take an inventory with your existing team, will taking inventory buy you some time with that team? Yeah. Can you ask them, listen, I want you to put your head down, no distractions, no right turn, no left turn, no fancy ideas, no innovation, just follow instructions. Can you do that for 90 days? Just January, February, March, that's all I need. Will you just be like the best employee for those 90 days? Not because I want to be your boss, I want to see you have a breakthrough. You're going to get all the support in the world. But now you bought 90 days, yeah? If you have a convention coming up, use that to buy time. When's your next convention, company convention? July, February, buy till February. July, buy till July. January, get through January for sure, but then when's the next one? Whether it's a team event, company event, events are great to buy time. Look, the company's coming out with a whole bunch of new stuff. Don't quit now. Let's get to that event and then let's decide. Little things can buy time. You know what a little thing is that buys time? Plant this into your organization. Never quit on a bad day. You know what that does? That one little phrase will buy you time. Because if it's a good day, they're not going to quit. And if it's a bad day, we say we don't quit on bad days, they're going to be around. So that sounds silly, right? But it's real because life does get in the way. People do get overwhelmed. People do get emotional. They got somebody who is giving them a hard time, or a spouse that isn't supportive, or a best friend that joined and quit, or whatever's going on. Just don't quit on a bad day. Call me anytime you feel like you're going to quit and let's talk about it. You need to be like a sponsor in Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm thinking about having a drink. Call me. Where are you? I'm driving to you right now. I'm going to come help. So, do you include the upline? Of course. Anybody who's willing to be a resource to your efforts, use them. When I'm digging, if there's somebody in the middle, I'm going to give you an unpopular opinion, and you don't have to like this, right? Sometimes there are uplines that are a pain in the ass. Okay? I'm just going to say it. Sometimes uplines are a pain in the ass. And sometimes uplines get mad at their own money. And they take people that are producing and they feel threatened by those people, and they try and smash the productivity of somebody that's in their group making them money. Happens all the time. All the time. So first of all, learn how to have a relationship. Stay in as good a relationship as you can without compromising your integrity. Okay? But mentally, you need to think like you're frontline to the company. That's number one. Number two, sometimes people are going to get territorial of their group. Don't talk to my team. Don't talk to my team. Well, if you're not going to talk to your team, I'm talking to your team. Because guess what? Your team's a little part of my team too. So if somebody's dysfunctional, if somebody's like a renegade off the reservation, if somebody's talking negative, now, if you want to know, let me just give you a quick little tutorial on when somebody's getting ready to quit your business and go join another company. A normally positive person will start complaining publicly. They'll start dripping seeds of doubt into different groups. They'll start talking about things and they'll complain about the company and they'll complain here and they don't normally do it. And they're like, gosh, I'm a little worried about what the company is. The company going to survive? You start hearing all these different things around and around and around. The moment that starts happening, when it wasn't normal, they weren't doing it before, they always have a good excuse. Dig into that line as quickly as possible, build as many relationships in that group as quickly as possible, because that person's getting ready, especially if this person is spreading negative in cross-line organizations. This is a little advanced stuff we'll talk about in leadership, but I'm just saying, how many of you have seen it? Yeah, by now you should see it coming. They might as well wave a flag that what they're doing. So you need to make people aware, make the company aware, be careful, be careful, be careful. Maybe bring them into the home office, go talk to the people on the team. Don't accuse anybody of anything, but protect. Dive into the group. Now, if I'm talking to James and James is saying, look, love you, man. But don't you go talk to my team. What I'm going to say is, James, I love you too. I want the best for you. And there's people in your group that deserve support. And if you're not going to give it to them, I feel like somebody should. So best case scenario, we work together and we're a united team in order to be able to help you unlock all the potential on your team. Last thing in the world, I don't want you to feel disrespected if I'm going around you in order to be able to connect with somebody else. Like you're no good. I want to come in and edify you and say, James and I would like to help you unlock some of the potential that you have in your group. That's what I'd like to do, James. Can we do that? He said, no, stay away. And then James does nothing. If James is doing nothing, I'm going to do everything I can to try and lock arms with James. But if I can't and I see potential in that group, I'm going to have compassion for that potential. I'm going to reach into that group and I'm going to have a conversation. I'm not going to de-edify James. I'm just going to say, if you need support, you joined for a reason. Can I help you? Are you willing, coachable, and hungry? Do you want 2024 to be amazing? I have a plan. Do you want to be a part of it? If the answer to any of that is yes, then let's go. Let's go make it happen. And you will find underneath these protective leaders, a lot of people saying, finally, thank you. I've been waiting for somebody to talk to me. And I felt like I've been blocked in this weird way inside of a company that I like. Or somebody's such a strong leader, and this is, I'm getting way into leadership, but whatever. I'm getting into leadership. Fine. It's still about duplication. Okay. Sometimes there's dysfunction in groups. There's the bullies, the tyrants, the dragons, the people it has to be all about them, people who put anybody with any strength on blast. If you see strength under those groups, know this. A real strong person will not sit in that environment for very long. They'll just leave. They won't make a big deal. They'll just say, you know what? You do you, but I'm out of here. Sometimes if you see somebody of strength and you can see the frustration popping up, you need to have a conversation. Try and fix it if you can. But sometimes programming is old. Somebody is like coming on hammering everybody in the group. Sometimes that's going to take a while to develop. And if you could do that respectfully and compassionately and privately with that person and still connect. What? The Godfather? And still connect with the people. If you can still do it, it's worth doing. Think about how many really strong people were in your group for a minute and wonder why there aren't anymore. A lot of times, they just didn't want to put up with the bullshit. there's too much dysfunction and drama and chaos and gossip and, you know, bullying and nonsense. And they're like, I didn't join for this, you know, so they find themselves somewhere else. So we're buying time. Buying time. I gave you a little bit more than I intended to there, but here, look.
Okay.
One of my early mentors told me that the key to success in network marketing boiled down to one thing, is to get people to stay in your business for 90 more days. And I said, what are you talking about? It makes no sense. How can that be the key? I said, what do you do after 90 days? He looked at me like I was the dumbest person in the world. Then you get them to stay another 90 days. Oh. How do I do that? However you have to. Come up with a campaign, come up with a strategy, come up with a contest, come up with an incentive, come up with an event, whatever, something to get them to stay another 90, another 90, another 90, another 90, another 90, until the penny drops. Give them recognition, bring them around, you know, give them a project, give them something to do. Work with them. And somebody's saying, I don't have any time. Well, you got time to recruit. Why do you not have time to dig? Where do you think you're going to be more valuable? Recruiting or digging? Where do you have more credibility? Let's put it that way. Recruiting or digging? Digging. You're coming in as an expert. Those people don't know you. You're just getting introduced as somebody who has a little bit more knowledge and skill. So buying time, 90 days at a time. If you can use campaigns. Come up with a campaign. You can use a challenge. Create some sort of challenge. If you help somebody to develop some skills buys you time. All of those things buy you time. Let me give you a list of just some examples when it comes to campaigns. I'm a big believer in campaigns. Campaigns and challenges, okay? Anytime you can come up with something, it's just an excuse. All you want to do is have an unlimited list of excuses for people to do something that they wouldn't have done. You just need to have a big, long list. I keep threatening I'm going to write a book of campaigns, you know, 1 million of them, or a book of assignments, you know, because that's what I've done my whole life. I have them randomly spread all over the place. And once I get my shit together, I'll write that book. I promise. Once I get unstuck, I'm going to be there. So challenges and campaigns. These are excellent. You can bring in a new class. Let's say you go take deep inventory. What's one of the best things you can do if you take deep inventory in the month of December and you start January 1? Give them a campaign, give them a project. Can't be the same old shit. Can't be the old, hey, we're just going to go talk to people and we're going to just share the opportunity and we're going to use the product. They're going to go, really? That was your big plan? Of course, that's what we do. So you got to put it in fancier wrapping than that. You got like the conversation blitz that we did. You get them all together on Zoom everywhere in the world. What if you went radical? Instead of 1 hour, you went 3 hours. Everybody agrees to be on this Zoom for 3 hours and you will not log off. Are you with me? Pick the 3 hours. Here's when it's going to be. And all you did was start conversations for 3 hours. How busy would their life be? How many limiting beliefs could you blast through in 3 hours to kick off the year?
That's all I'm gonna do. All right, start.
So let me give you a list of challenges. I'm gonna write fast, unless you can type fast. John, can you type fast? All right. Product use challenges. Product use challenge. Here's our product. I want to challenge every single person that says they want to change their life to use the product as instructed every day for a blank number of days. A 21-day challenge, a 7-day challenge, a 3-day challenge, a 5-day cleanse, a whatever it happens to be. Why is that so funny? Huh? That's a long cleanse?
Yeah.
Is that the deal? You can tell that I don't go very long without eating. Is that what you're saying? Okay, fine. 2-day cleanse, 2-day cleanse. A product use challenge. Like my Herbalife friends, they have a 21-day transformation challenge. It works incredibly well. 21 days. And guess what they need to do? They bring people into that challenge. People need to get the product in order to be able to use it during the challenge. They get their results. They get some recognition. They got some camaraderie, got some accountability. What can you do with your product or service? Could you come up with a challenge around your product or service? Okay, think about that as an idea. Product results challenge. A challenge on results. I use this. Who used the service the best to get the best results? Who used the product the best to get the best results? Come up with the time frame. Doesn't matter. What are we trying to do? We're buying time. We're trying to get people to do something that they wouldn't have done without this challenge. Can you come up with some little contests and rewards and incentives and trophies? Trophies are cheap, man. Go to the trophy store, get a big old 6-foot trophy for first place. It doesn't cost that much money. And then like a 4-foot trophy for second place and a 3-foot trophy. You know how many people on your team have never gotten a trophy for anything ever?
Right.
Send them a certificate with a little gold foil thing on it with your signature and send it to the CEO and ask the CEO to sign every one for everybody that does the basic challenge. You know what I'm saying? Results. A result challenge. Use our product or service to get this result. And everybody going to submit their results. Is that going to build belief in your organization? Is that going to get people to take action? Of course. Million ways you can do this. Customer challenges. Go to your existing customers and give them a challenge. You're already using the product. Maybe it's a challenge to document 7 days of product use before and after. Maybe it's a challenge to whatever. Doesn't matter. Come up with something just for them. A gathering customer challenge, like enrolling customers. Could you do a 3-day customer challenge and you gave your team every single possible tool and tactic and story and testimonial and game plan, scripts, help, and let's see who can get the most customers in 3 days and have a leaderboard, recognition, all of this stuff, and everybody's just out there running around getting customers. Could you get the company involved with this? Could you get some swag from your company? They got t-shirts in the warehouse that they've been there a long time. Pull them out of the warehouse and give away some t-shirts, some hats, some swags, you know, coffee cup, whatever, something. Recruiting challenges. I love recruiting challenges. Come up with a recruiting challenge. 7 and 7, 10 and 10. We're going to do 7 recruits in 7 days. Who wants to be part of the 7 recruits in 7 days challenge? Everybody raises their hand. All right, here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to do it. Here's the support. Here's all the Zooms we're going to do. Here's the tools we're going to use. Here's how we're going to go approach by approach. And everybody that does the 7, as soon as they do, we're going to have them tell the story to everybody else. Everybody does the 7 in 7 days. We're going to recognize them on the corporate page. They're going to tell their story of how they did it. If you're competitive, you have competitive people on your team, they're going to go, well, I'm going to be on the list. Of course, I'm getting 7. No matter what, it's going to happen. So companies can get involved with this as well. They can give away a ticket to their convention. They can give away.
We gotta take that.
They do fantastic. Don't, whatever. It's worth an ask.
Get out of here.
You know? Will you throw in some free product?
I'm not really.
Will you throw in some swag? We throw in it. You can do a challenge like this and say, at the next company convention, there's going to be a private party for only people who did 7 and 7. The night before the convention starts.
Yeah.
Or lunchtime before the convention starts. How many people will pay for proximity with their productivity, with their production, in order to be able to get in that room? No exceptions. No exceptions. You gotta do the 7 and 7 in order to be able to do it. And I just made up the 7 and 7, by the way.
Good job.
Any activity challenge, anything. Think about any activity that is an income producing activity.
It won't make it.
Let's say how many of you have ever had successful home parties? Anybody? Successful home parties ever? Okay. What if you did a home party challenge? 10 home parties in 10 weeks. Everybody agrees to do 1 a week for 10 straight weeks. And to document and send in their results to everybody else. They're gonna host or attend 1 a week for 10 straight weeks. It's a sorting tool. It's gonna get people to do things they wouldn't have done. It gets people face to face. It's gonna create more activity. But it could be a conversation challenge. You could do that with them. Conversation challenge, presentation challenge. It could be, I'm gonna post every day challenge. I'm gonna post on social once a day. I'm gonna go live on social for 30 straight days challenge. Remember the ice bucket challenges and stuff that they were doing? Come up with your own version of that. Put a hashtag on it. You know, if you've ever seen those super hot chips,
Yes.
you know, what do they call them? The 1 chip challenge. Here's an idea for you, just for fun, right? Have you ever seen somebody eat one of those 1 chips?
Nobody do the Tide Pod challenge.
It's so hot. Have you tried one? You haven't tried one? Have you or haven't you? No, here's the deal. Here's what might be fun, just fun, right? You ever see Hot Wings, the show that they have on? If you had the 1 chip challenge, everybody on your team got 1 chip. And the challenge was to eat the chip and then talk about everything that they loved about network marketing before they could drink anything. They had to tell their network marketing story in 2 minutes before they could drink anything. Huh?
No.
Is this compliant? I don't know. Hey, if you can recreate an ice bucket challenge, make something fun and memey and crazy, do it. Come up with something. Come up with something that is unique and fun. Team's gonna have a good time with it.
Did you write?
You know, it's the popular thing now is cold plunging. All the cold plunging stuff that's happening everywhere. You live in a place where the water's cold, do a cold plunge challenge.
You all get a package of
Let's
those.
go.
Make shit up.
Lunge.
All I'm saying is people are bored with the same old stuff. You give them a challenge, some people are gonna rise to it. You can do a charity challenge. We're gonna raise money for, you know, unfortunate families and children for Christmas. I worked with an organization where the guy's passion was to give away bicycles to kids that never had a bicycle. So all he did was collected like 1,000 bicycles and then found a way to deliver them 1 by 1 with a bow on it to some kid that never had a bike. Went to inner cities, went all the different places. That's going to engage a whole different group that wouldn't have engaged, you know, for other types of competition, right? Your company might be involved in charity anyway. So think of any activity that is an income producing activity. Like I'll give you another example. Make 10 new contacts a day on social media challenge. You have to find them, friend them up, send them a message, say hello, something. You come up with the 1, 2, 3 that they have to do, and it's 10 a day for 30 days. I just made it up, but pick the numbers.
Yes. I have to.
Any calendar-based campaigns, 12 days of Christmas, New Year kickoff, Valentine's Day, spring break. Get your summer body back. You know, be ready for the summer. Deal with come up with a campaign around the summer when it might be slow. You know what's the slowest time of the year? The absolute slowest time? December 26th to January 15th.
We're all just-
December 26th to January 15th. It's slower than August. It's slower than July.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
day after Christmas, they're done.
No.
And they think they're gonna start January 1, but they got the post-Christmas blahs.
Think about all the sales.
And they
we're
don't
going
really
to
kick back into productivity until about the 15th of the month. So if you had a challenge in those 3 weeks, you have a huge advantage over everybody else. A rank challenge. Find the lowest rank or find the core rank, pick a rank. And say in the month of January, we're gonna do level 1 rank advancement challenge. We're gonna see how many people we can get to qualify at that level. Here's what it takes. Here's all you gotta do to say, I'm in. And we're gonna support you. Anybody who raises their hand and says, I wanna get there, we're gonna support you every possible way. We got a whole team ready to do it. You could go to your existing top leaders and challenge all of them to get one new person to core rank in a particular month. To get your existing leadership team re-engaged. All of this buys time. All of this creates duplication. All of this causes people's belief to go up and their results to go up. Occupation challenges. I love occupation challenges. Here's what I mean by that. People say, I don't know anybody. Well, do you know any chiropractors? Well, yeah, I know like 7 of those. What if you did a challenge? All you're gonna do, pick 1 week, and everybody on the team is gonna contact every single chiropractor with this video, this follow-up, these testimonials from the chiropractors on the team, this reasons why people are joining, and we're gonna just aim it all at them for a week. Next week is the teachers. We're just gonna have a conversation and approach all the teachers. The week after that, it's personal trainers. The week after that, it's people in the medical profession. The week after that, it's whatever, small business people. Week after that, it's single moms only. It's single moms that are gonna be supporting other single moms. Think about all the different occupations that you could target and turn into a challenge. This is where your creativity is gonna show up. Convention campaigns. What's your campaign to get people to attend your company convention?
Yeah.
What kind of a campaign? You're gonna get people to buy multiple tickets or are people, what are all the tools that you can do to get people to register for those campaigns? Convention. You could do a challenge around teaching people how to become a presenter. Who would like to be an amazing, unbelievable presenter from stage? Or better than you are now? Yeah? If you had a challenge that all we're gonna do is we're gonna create a presenter school, and anybody who accepts that challenge, we're gonna walk you through what it takes to be a great presenter step by step by step by step. You might be surprised, but that's one of the big leadership KPIs. I'll talk about it more tomorrow. I talked about it with your CEOs. How many presenters do you have on your team that could get in front of the stage at your company convention and smash an opportunity presentation? How many do you have on your team? The more you have, the more duplication you're gonna have, the more growth you're gonna have. The less you have, the less duplication you have, obviously. But so many people want to be developed into that skill set, especially when they get here and they understand the person with the marker makes the money. They're like, hey, I want some of that. So you can come up with a presenter challenge, teach people how to become great presenters. 90-day game plan challenge, recognition campaign. Let me give you a small one on this one. And I know I'm blasting through a lot, right? Write it down, take a picture when it's done, save yourself, save the ink in your pen. But a recognition campaign. Deep inventory is one of the things that I think would get enormous return. Conversation blitz is another thing that I think will get an enormous return. Recognition is another thing that I think would get enormous return. And let me talk to you about what I mean by it specifically. Radical recognition. Radical recognition at the lowest possible level. From the field to their teams. Okay, don't wait for the company to do this. But I see some of you do a pretty good job. Hey, the person just got to Ruby, or they just got to Emerald, or they just got to Diamond. Let's all recognize them. Here's what I would suggest you try. Just try it.
Right.
It's gonna take a little work. You're gonna have some duplication to do it. But what if you recognized every single person who joined your organization as a distributor on social? And you posted it on your page and you tagged them. I want to welcome my friend, James. He just joined. I think he's got a huge future. I picked James's favorite picture. I post James on my social, and I want to welcome him to our company. I think he's going to crush it. Does that buy me some time? What other unintended consequences do I have if I do that? Like, Sandra, how many people joined your team last month? About 50, 15. 15,000 people joined your team last month. What if
That's all?
15,000 social media posts for every one of those people, welcoming them with their best picture, congratulations, joining, hashtag your company, tag them, their whole world will see it. All of their followers will see it. Let's say they have an average of 300
I'm
followers.
curious, like, how would we feel?
How many
about-
people will now see that those
even if it's
15,000
just a
people joined?
customer?
15,000 times 300. So let me give you a number.
No, they would not like that.
They'd be pissed and leave.
Some of them actually already were upset when I posted them in the VU page.
Somebody's got to do the math.
Yeah, because there's so
And
many
after you-
companies,
after
there's
you
so
take
many
them,
sites
like,
that
after
are
you
kind
know.
of-
4.5 million people would be exposed just by having a system and a campaign inside your organization that one by one
Right.
recognize with their picture. And what would happen? Everybody say, what is this company? Who is this company? I see everybody's with this company. There's no claims. They're just welcoming them to the team. I'm seeing it everywhere. I'm seeing it here and there and here and there and here and there. Something must be going on. Would that create more momentum, more belief inside your organization? If you did it for every distributor, just welcome them to the team. Does it seem like that's a little overdoing it? I don't think you can overdo it.
Generates like, there's activity.
It does, yeah, people.
Let me get a little bit even nuttier.
You just said
What if every time they,
the
the first time they got a customer, you recognize them again? They just got their first customer. Their business is off and
We
running.
do that on the team page too, though.
They signed up their first team member. They just got a team member.
Honestly.
And you have a different color for each one, like a little background border.
And we do that with every.
This is the welcome, brand new person background and border. This is a person who has a customer. Now they're building a business border. This is a person who has a team member. Now they're building that. This is a person who registered for the convention. Now they got a different border around them. This is a person who rank advanced to core rank. Now they got a different border around them. This is a person who's helped somebody else or whatever. They've gone to this other level. They unlocked this other thing. And you got different colors moving through the ranks, and you can see people's prestige, and they're going to collect all their little recognition things like they're on the wall. Yeah, but shouldn't the company do that? Probably. But until they do, I just want you to think about the ripple effect of that little simple recognition thing. How nuts that would be. How many people joined your team? How many people joined your team in November? You know? Yeah. Any guess? 250 people? All right, 250 people. You and a couple other leaders can do that by Monday. Take their photo, welcome them, congratulations, really proud of you. Tag your company, Tag your team, tag them, their whole world sees it. You don't need to prospect at all. It doesn't need to be anything other than a recognition tool. But man, the ripple effect is massive. All right, a few more, then I'll be done. You could do sampling campaigns. If you got sampling products, social media campaigns, go live every day, post a certain way every day. It's AI tools. You guys should be able to crank out some really cool stuff.
I just used it on my phones.
Did you?
Yeah, could you even?
How many of you are in more than one country?
Couldn't even tell,
Yeah,
and I never even put a profile thing in.
I used it for.
and again,
today too,
Yeah.
and for some replies.
none of these things are things you couldn't have done.
You
But
did.
you have to think differently
I was like.
if you're gonna want to try and get duplication. If you're in more than one country, should you be in more than one country?
No.
If the company is. Should everybody on your team be in more than one country? What if you had
You didn't even know. It was kind of nice.
No,
international
check it out.
recruit one
check it out.
person outside of your country this month challenge? For everybody on the team. Everybody sets a
The
goal.
hashtags maybe
I'm gonna
will
recruit
get
at least
it.
one person that's not in my home country.
For me, but the other one.
And then you give them the training, the resources, everything else to be able to do it. You recognize it as soon as you make it happen and you start to seed the
Said, like,
world
surprise, like,
instead of just
they asked
having
me what the
your one
business was,
organization.
like,
Is that
surprise.
possible? Could each of you find a way somehow, some way
And then
to
they
find
said,
somebody in
well,
another country and involve them? Of course you could.
description of what
If you
the
can
video-
do it, you can teach it. If you can teach it, you can challenge it. If you challenge it, now we're turning it into something. Now you can't do it every month. That's what I'm saying. He's got to rotate around. In between all this, guess what we're doing?
I answered
Using the
questions,
product, sharing
and
the
then
opportunity,
I copied
building
and
for
pasted the
events,
post on my
right?
Facebook,
That's what we're doing. Fundamentals.
edited
People
it.
get bored with fundamentals. You want to get duplication, you got to throw in some fun. Something wild. Campaigns and systems. Excuse me, campaigns and challenges. I'm going to talk about systems later. So is this helpful?
Yeah,
I want to get practical with you. Practical. What we want to do, sometimes we use challenges. Challenges buy us time for us to develop systems.
No, Kaylee already.
Not every challenge is a system.
I was gonna say, mine's like-
Challenges buy us time
I'm like, hey.
for people to hang around a little bit longer so we can develop systems. Ultimately, every business is a system, a collection of systems. Right? Systems buy us time for our people to develop skills. If you have a skill-proof and fear-proof system, that's great. But that buys the time for your people to become skilled. And skills buy us time for a person to become a leader. Understand? Challenges, systems, skills, leadership. All right? How many people have at least 5 pages of notes so far? Good, good. I'm glad you got a lot. We're gonna continue. We're gonna talk about more, but right now, I'm gonna bring Robbie back. I'll be back in a little bit, and we're gonna continue the conversation, okay? Welcome, Robbie.
Big long line. Good to be back. Thank you so much. You guys stand up. You guys are so great. Seriously, your energy is so great. You're helping everybody out. You're helping everybody online. I know that those of you that are at home watching, we feel your energy. Vanessa Tompkins, I see you. Dee Gibbs, Carol White, I see you all. I see you putting in the energy, putting in the effort, and I want to consistently remind you that those activities, good behaviors, will create the habits that will last forever. So continue those good behaviors, like combing your hair, Rachel. I saw that. Way to go. Getting it done.
Never asked me that question.
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. I can't believe that all over the world there are people that are tuned here right here in Las Vegas. Don't we love Las Vegas, Nevada? Wow, wow. Who's local here? Who here is local from Las Vegas? Raise your hands. Local. Vegas is the place to be. It is such an easy place to travel to. So much fun to be here. That is, you know, something I want to make mention of. So as we have started getting enrollments for the Beyond Leadership training, I wanted to give you a couple of reminders. There's some have been asking if there are any forms and where they are. They're just out in the lobby. It's really easy. They have the forms for the Beyond Leadership and for the Breakthrough boot camps. So make sure that you're heading out there if you are here live with us. For those of you that are online, I know your dashboard is live with that button. Go join that next, go join the Beyond Leadership training, go join that Breakthrough so that you can move forward as well. Now, we're going to go ahead and move into our next panel. I love panels. Don't you love panels? We get to learn from those that are like, we were like sitting there at one time, they were sitting next to us and we're like, oh my gosh, you're now on stage. I didn't know you were so amazing. And now we get to see them. And it's so much fun as they were standing there in the back and we were kind of talking about what we were going to discuss up here, that we're going to get some golden nuggets from them that are going to, you're going to want to be ready. You're going to want to be ready because they have taken the steps. They followed through. They have taken the necessary investment approaches in their own personal development to put them in the place right now where they can sit on the stage and share from their experiences. So this is going to be a panel on duplication. You excited about duplication once again? All right, let's bring on our panelists. Now, our panelists,
Like pictures, you
each
guys.
and every one of them have
Well,
prepared
stand in front of it.
through the experiences and activities that they've taken in their life. So let's help them feel the love, the excitement that we have for them, this amazing moment to be able to be here at GoPro 2023 and have an opportunity to be talking right here on this stage. So let's welcome our very first panelists, Dan and Megan Valentine.
Super. Anybody help them out here? We gotta help them. Hey, Sean, say all. And last but not least, Jonathan Weber. Let's give him a And now the host of the panel, welcome Mr. Eric Worre.
This lady had back surgery, how long ago?
I'm gonna go around.
2 weeks ago. And she's here. Pretty amazing. These guys are rock stars. We just got to know each other like recently though, right?
I'm interrupting.
It's crazy.
Sorry.
You hear their story? It's bananas.
Sarah.
All of these people
I'm
were brought
here.
up here
Oh, here. I'm
because
actually gonna take you out.
you can only get so far. You can improve, you can train, and you can sign up a million customers. and
One more second.
all these different things.
Alright.
But man, if you can't get people to help,
One. You can see me in the window.
it's gonna be pretty tough. So I wanna start here. Start with this.
Sorry, virtual people.
And just introduce yourself. Tell your like basic story, so everybody gets to know you a little bit.
Okay, so I'm Dan Valentine, and Megan and I were pastors for many years, and I was really fat. So somebody introduced me to a product and a company. And we all have this story that's changed my life. I mean, I didn't realize that my health was related to everything else in my life, and was able to become a better husband and a better dad, but just a better everything. So I started dreaming again when I started taking control of everything that I knew that I didn't have discipline over. And so I came into the company, I attended our first convention as a client. I didn't even know why. I mean, I know why now. And I fell in love with it. Our company is so, like all of yours, is so mission focused. And I fell in love with it. I said, man, I can see myself being part of this. But I really just became a distributor. We call them coaches for just to help people. And then we fell in love with that. And then we didn't bring them for like 6 months because we didn't want people to think we were trying to make money off of them. And so when we finally had that awakening, it was like an absolute explosion, and we just been hanging on for the ride ever since. And it's been such a stinking blast. And the one thing I tell my team all the time, and you guys will agree with me when we're done here, is my greatest gift to you is that after you get to know me, you'll be like, if that guy can do this, I can totally do this. And that's not me being humble. Like really, it's like, I don't know, like you might ask me a question, I'd be like, I have no idea, man. We just.
Megan, are you the secret weapon behind this or what?
I would say we're a power couple. We balance each other out, right? There's fire, it gets a little wild sometimes, but then it all works itself out. So yeah, no, I agree. He came back to life, and for the first time in a long time, he wanted, finally agreed that he wanted something more out of life. And so we started to blank canvas, what could our life look like? We realized we to create more than we've ever been able to do that, not just for ourselves, but the good that we could do in the world. And we've always loved being a champion of people and leading leaders. So we thought, wow, we've helped people before, emotionally, spiritually, whatever, but to be able to actually help them financially and to change the whole vision and picture of their life, what an honor. So it has been a wild ride. It was really messy at first, trying to, both of us working full-time, having 3 little kids, trying to get to the top of the company in our first year, without leaving our jobs, really wanting to show people what was possible. So yeah, it's been fun.
It's been 9 years, yeah.
9 years now. Yeah.
Amanda, is it Amanda Rose? Do we use all?
You could just use Amanda.
I mean, but what would you
So
prefer?
Amanda Cooper is a pro wrestler.
Really?
Yeah, so we kind of similar. She has way bigger muscles, but anyway.
Okay, all right, got it, I got it. All right,
Over
so
the years, people started calling me Amanda Rose because.
just
yeah,
because,
yeah,
got it.
Because, yeah.
So, what's your story? Share with everybody.
So the other half of my power is over there holding up the phone right now. Brian, he's my husband.
I
And
know you were gonna be here. We could have had you.
I never travel without him. He carries my bags for me. And he keeps me from getting lost. No, he's amazing. Seriously. He's amazing. Truly, truly. We had 4 kids in 5 years ago. And about 9 years ago now, 9.5 years ago, one of our children, our son, became really sick. And we almost lost him. And so I was on this whole wellness journey of trying to find things to help him. And with that, I bought a box of product that was attached to this industry. And I knew that there was a business side to that, but when I saw people doing it, I thought, if I have to speak on stage, I'm never doing that. So I said no. And so a year later, though, I started to really research the industry, was very excited. We had medical bills and things like that. And I realized for the first time during that time when our son was sick, what it felt like to lose income that was attached to you personally showing up for a certain amount of hours. And so we wanted a new model that we could create reoccurring income. So I dove in, we did it. We've had a little twists and turns in our journey over the years. We did partner with a new company last year. And in the past 18 months, within 9 months, we did hit the top of the company and now 55,000 people in our team. And it's just like, it's just amazing to see what can happen. And I just want to say this too, is that life can sometimes knock you on your back. And I've heard Les Brown say, if you could look up, you could get up. And sometimes we can feel like your, the work setback in your career could actually be your setup. And so just never underestimate what you can do. You never start from zero, you always start from experience. And everyone brings experience in one way or another.
My name is Alex. I am from Dominican Republic. I'm from there and I still live there. I started this company, this opportunity 8 years and a half ago. At that time, I was 70 pounds more than, what I'm right now. I was broke and I was broken. And I always say that I didn't look for this opportunity find me, honestly. And I didn't did it because I was passionate about it. I did it because I was desperate at that time. I needed to change my life. I'm a mom of 3 kids. Living in Dominican Republic, you don't have many opportunities like here in the United States. Like if you don't work, you don't eat, And I didn't even have money to buy meal at that time. So I was inspired by my coach, my angel, my mentor, Stormy Wellington, that is here today with me, as always. And through social media, I met her and I sent her a text and I decided, to join her and join her team. And it has been amazing. I have lost weight, I made money, and then I understood that this amazing profession really can change lives. And I became passionate, about helping people, not only in my country, but like all, around the world. And I'm gonna ask for a minute to say to all my Latinos, Latinos here and everywhere they are right now, I want you to say, quiero decirles que todo lo que hoy es grande, alguna vez fue pequeño. Yo soñé con estar aquí. Soñé con estar aquí. Y hoy estoy en esta tarima junto a Eric Worre. Basically, I'm saying that it was my dream to be here one time. And I know that, for the Latinos is, sometimes it's hard to believe that we can make it. But honestly, yes, we can. Yes, we can do it too. So I know for a fact that we're going to have a lot more of Latinos representing here at GoPro next year.
Love it. Matt and Shante, you guys are a power couple as well, but go ahead.
Yeah, so my name is Matt Hall. I got into the business because the most beautiful woman in the world. I had an experience with some products, which I'll let her share. But I was initially very skeptical. Utah boy, surrounded by dozens and dozens and dozens of companies. My parents had been pitched everything you can imagine. So skeptical of the business model, but I was put in front of a couple that were earning $70,000 a month. I was a college student the first 3 years of building in college, and I said, are you sure this is legal? Like, is it legal to make that much money? And I said, okay, just tell me what to do. So at 22, we got started. We're super coachable. We are not the story that you'll hear like several of these legends of overnight success. Our first year was really difficult. It took us 5 years to reach 6 figures, 11 years to get here to 7 figures, but we just kept going. And so our story is one of persistence, of just committing to one company, to one vision, to one message, and not giving up.
Now Bradenly has one now.
So I was, in college, I decided to serve a mission for my church, and I went abroad. I was living in Taiwan for a year and a half, and I was really struggling emotionally, anxiety, depression, all across the board. So when I found the products that I did, and they really helped me emotionally, when I got back from my service mission, I was like, hey, I don't want to do any job other than just something that has meaning and purpose. And so that's when I sought out someone that that could help me learn how to do it. And I am just so grateful that the person that I was engaged to at the time believed enough in me to take a look at it, and that he was willing to be humble and teachable as well. And over the span of these last 11 years, it has transformed every area of our life. Our vision was that we could travel the world. Our vision was that we could spend a lot of time with our family, that we could work together and spend a lot of time together. And it's so amazing to be able to do your business with your best friend. So.
Great evening, you guys. Jonathan Weber, been in this industry for 10 years now. Started 10 years ago. I was in a place where I was really just kind of looking for something. Wasn't sure exactly what it was. Came down to a workout. Saw this type of energy, the energy that you guys have, right? So this is the energy that got me, right? I remember standing in the back of the room, just looking at a bunch of excited people and great energy, something that I hadn't been used to. I grew up in Compton and Watts, single parent home. My mom had me, she was 16 years old. Started getting into trouble around 12 years old, left home at 15, juvenile hall, all sorts of things. But it's just because I was just in an environment where that's kind of what it was. I was really good at all the sports that I played. I was really popular. I was all these different things, but I was just in an environment that, it produced what it produced. So anyway, long story short, when I had that opportunity to find this, I stood in the back of the room and I saw it. And I just kept saying to myself, I didn't know anything like this ever existed. I didn't know this energy existed. I didn't know you guys existed, right? And you're just the embodiment of what the industry is. And sitting back there, I remember just saying to myself, what if? What if this is real? What if these type of people really do make money and really do impact the world? This is something that I love to be a part of. And I knew I could leave because I was in a negative space. But at that point, if I left, I couldn't say it didn't exist. I couldn't say I never felt it. So I got started. Within 2 years, I was the top 1% of the company. And, since then, I have, a bunch of leaders that make over 6 figures as well, shortly thereafter. And it just kind of grew from there. And, that's my story.
I love it. I love it. Give them a round of applause. So we want to talk about duplication. Okay, so here's what I'd like you guys to think about. I ask you all the same question. We'll start here again. So you have the least amount of time to think about the answer. What's the thing that maybe doesn't sound fancy? Maybe it is fancy, but what is the thing that actually created the most duplication on your team? When it was duplicating the most, whenever it's had the most duplication results, more leaders are kicking out, more recruiting's kicking out, more growth, more expansion, less and less on you and more on the team. What was the thing that caused that to happen?
Okay, so I think, because I can look at the exact moment when our business exploded and I didn't quite know, hey, you need to reproduce this in your team. So the next explosion, the next level came once we figured that out. And one thing I discovered, and this is you've been teaching on this for years, is most people need a mindset awakening when it comes to recruiting. They've got a million concepts in their head. And when we really started to focus on the mindset work, and that's what my mentor did with me. That's why we didn't recruit anybody for 5 or 6 months. I was scared of this and scared of that and didn't, all this stuff. But he took the time to help me work through those concepts. And when it did, everything opened up. And I realized I'm not trying to make money from people or get people to do something. I'm giving people an amazing gift. So one of the things that we've duplicated, and I think this is where all the growth has come from, is leaders and sponsors working with just one of the things, working through those mindset issues, specifically around recruiting with their team. So we have trained a lot on that. We push that. When someone comes in, that's going to be one of their first concepts.
So what's the biggest mental block that people have around the recruiting, and what do you do specifically to get them past it? What was the system that you used to get people more comfortable with this recruiting mindset?
Yeah, I think if you see somebody that's not getting results, whether it's in recruiting or whether it's in sales and getting customers, we look at it like a hose where, and this is something that we train on, is if there's not water coming out the other side, there's two things it could be. There could be a kink or multiple kinks, or the spigot isn't on. So most of the time the spigot's not on. So one of the things that we have duplicated outside of the recruiting is just a system of simple daily business building activities. We call them DMOs, all that, but that is part of what every coach knows. They know what they are. They know, based on their time commitment, the consistency is the key. I don't know if that answers your question.
So the combination, right, of DMO, and keep them close to the fire and continue to encourage them to get out of their own way mentally, yes. So when we talked, the thing that I found, you know, Danny's a humble guy, making a lot of money. Both of them, they're doing extraordinarily well. Top 3 in the room, maybe. Top 5 in the room, maybe. Top 10 in the room for sure. I asked Dan what he did. He said, well, here's all I really did. I took the product, I lost weight, and when you lose weight, people ask you what you did. And then I learned a script of what to tell them when they asked me. And I told them, and I used that to get customers and sign up distributors. And I just basically taught everybody else to do the same thing. Use the product, lose some weight. When people ask, here's what you tell them, and repeat. Is that kind of accurate?
Yeah, I want to change my answer to that. That's really good.
That's what you told me.
I know, that just seems so simplistic. I mean, that's really it. That's what we did, because you know,
Over and over and over and over
yeah,
again.
yeah.
Yeah. So how about you? I mean, what have you noticed that's worked? Because 9 years now, people get bored sometimes, and you know, sometimes you have to like make it fresh and you know, come up with a little campaign or distract people, get people to do something that they wouldn't do. What's worked for you? Because like in your organization, I mean, how many 6-figure earners a year do you have on your team? Would you guess? 100? How many 7-figure earners? You have any other 7-figure earners on your team? 6 or 7. So 6 or 7 7-figure years earners and 100 6-figure a year earners. So break it down. How?
Honestly, I'm gonna talk more the transformational side versus the transactional. That's how we
please.
normally work, but I would say we're just really, really committed to leading ourselves well, and taking people on the journey with us. So we're not asking people to do what we're not willing to do. And so we have been committed to doing the hard work and saying, let's do this together. And we have a massive amount of belief, like you talked about earlier. Like you cannot convince us that this industry or our business isn't the best. There's nothing you can do. There's no, I mean, you can argue with me, but my testimony just tells me you're wrong. So sorry, you know, so we have belief that I think is really contagious, and we're willing to get in the dirt with people and help them work through these issues and work through these obstacles. And I think a lot of it, we do spend the time, we're available. You know, every Tuesday, we have an open forum for certain levels of leaders to show up, and we call it real talk. And we say, put your steel-toed boots on and be ready, because we're just gonna do the cold, hard truth. And really, we lovingly will challenge you, and we're all gonna grow in this together. And so I think because we are committed to leading ourselves out loud, like we believe in connecting with people through our weakness and vulnerability, but leading them through our strength. So we don't want this huge dissonance between what they think we are versus, you know, where they are. We want them to know, hey, we're in this together. Like, we kind of dressed up for all of you, but like, this is not, I mean, we just are ourselves. And, you know, Dan's wearing shorts every day, and we're just showing up as ourselves and taking them on the journey. So I think in that process, we do it over Zoom or whatever, but.
And I would also say just something that I've noticed from knowing you the first time, you know, we've kind of had our conversation outside of like in earshot while I'm talking with Dan, is you're real committed to your personal growth. I mean, after making a lot of money, I mean, since we started talking, how many masterminds has she been on? You've been like, you were in Europe, you were in California or somewhere, before your back surgery, learning. And you guys are part of the Next Level Mastermind now, kind of newly, in order to be able to kind of flex. They had a big goal that we talked about in our first conversation. And without it being an income claim or anything, you know, we're not trying to recruit anybody with this, but they had an income goal to get to $1 million a month in revenue. And, you know, they not quite there, and they want to figure out how to get there, huh? And I'm going to help them get there for sure. But you know, 100,000 a year was the big deal at one point, and $1 million a year. has become a big thing and it's starting to become reasonably common. And $1 million a month is the next evolution, not just one time, because there's people who hit there and couldn't hold it. But to get there and hold it, I think is the next evolution. But to do that, it's duplication at the base level in the field, and it's duplication of leadership. So Amanda, talk to me about how you created the duplication, because you built a huge dynasty as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Sorry, I would like to say our vision and bring that to people is super important to see what's possible. So a couple things, if you just want to talk tactical though, two things that work really well for us. Well, I guess three. One is we do so many Zooms all the time, all week long, and we're constantly launching people. The biggest thing that I feel like I'm repeating all the time with our team is distributors launch distributors, but leaders launch teams. And so as soon as somebody's coming in, it's getting them in groups together to launch the next group. So every single month, to piggyback along with that, myself, along with every single six-figure earner and above, they all have launched chats inside of Messenger. So Facebook Messenger, everybody goes in there, you know, we start new December chats already popping, and everyone's launching together. And then we take the people from that group, tell them, hey guys, your goal is to bring in your 5 people this month to get into the next group, right? And it's not their ticket in, but it's the goal to move everyone into that next group. They can still join it, but they all know what we're doing that month. And so we're just taking those people and taking chunks of people over and over. 5 equals 25 by the end of the month. Now, if you do that all over, that's massive numbers, right? And so then we're taking those daily Zooms that are happening all over the team to one weekly Zoom, where everyone knows there's an opportunity call every single, you know, now we're doing them on Tuesdays, but for the past 18 months, it was every Monday night, there was a call that everybody knew was there. And so, I mean, we have 100, 200, 300 people sometimes on these calls, and they're all coming with their people to learn and then launch the next group. So I think it's just a matter of, you know, what is the system, people knowing exactly what it is, having that clear plan and keeping it super simple. Because in that messenger chat, that's where the energy is. And people say, what's the magic? It's in the chat. Because everybody's talking all day long. They're sharing the links to the posts they did. Everyone's commenting, boosting the algorithms, helping each other. It's just really cool to watch that camaraderie happen and the energy. And, you know, a word picture we use a lot in our team is an image of a campfire. You know, in the fall, you can't wait for fall, right? The leaves change, you stick your hoodie on, and you go sit in front of the fire. It's like, you just never want to leave. Anybody else agree? It's the best. But if you start stepping away from the fire, does the air not feel colder? Especially the air on your back, right? And so the image that we repeat a lot is, listen, if you are not having the growth, the duplication, the energy that you had before, is it possible you just stepped away from the fire? You're not broken, the company's not broken, the products aren't broken, your team's not broken, your upline's not broken. You just stepped away from the fire. So what is the fire? The fire is staying in the chats, showing up to the calls, bringing people to the calls, posting valuable content that attracts people to you. And so you're not having to chase people, right? So, you know, breaking down what do those daily things look like that equal a fire to them, and ask them, what equals a fire to you? Because for some of them, it's the community. For others, it's the actual action. For some, it might be, you know, actually enrolling someone lights me up. Seeing a new person launch lights me up, right? Ask them what it is, because then they know exactly why their fire grows dim, or they know exactly why their business slows down. So if they can connect, what equals duplication for me? How do I build a bigger fire? Because the reality is, does it not feel yucky when you have to chase people? But if you have a fire big enough, people chase you because they want to sit there, right? So just connecting all of that together holds them accountable too, because then everyone understands what's a fire. And then you can talk about what are fire starters, right? Every campfire will go out within a day or two. So what are the things that consistently keep the fire burning brighter? Personal development. So do you have a personal development type call that people can join into every single week? Right? Are there things that will actually help them? Are you sending them podcasts, or do they know who to listen to? Do they know about Eric Worre, right? Like who are the people that you can point them to learn from and to keep that fire burning? So.
Love it. Anna.
Well, to be honest, I think that first of all, as a leadership standpoint, I think that, show them, not just tell them. Being leading by example is very important for the duplication. Letting people know that you're, selling, you're recruiting, you're actually doing the work. And I think that, it doesn't matter how big as a leader you are, people really need to see you all the time doing the basic things. Something that I learned is do not duplicate the people, duplicate the system. So I'm very big at creating, tools and systems. My team, for example, we have calls in the morning, we have trainings at night, we have presentation calls every single night, we have masterminds every Sunday. And I have like a whole university certifications. I have an app, like I'm big at creating tools to make the work easy. And people like really see me. Like I do a live every day at 11 in the morning, and I connect more than 1,000 people every day. So they see me, like they see that I'm very committed. They see that I'm working. They see my numbers. And also, what you were explaining before about, the challenges. Something that I've been doing, I do like 90-day runs. So we have 4 90-day runs in my team. And every 90-day run has like a different name, a different challenge, prices, things different. So people are very excited to, accomplish things in those 90 days, even a transformation goal, or maybe a new rank, or maybe, hit a new check. And when that 90-day run ends, of course, they're waiting for the other one, so it's like everything new, a new name, a new challenge, more prices. So I think that gets everybody excited and also connected to the fire, to the work, But 100% something that I can say about duplication, lead by example. Do the simple work and make it simple. And I can't forget, for the new people, create like a little goal that is very achievable and make it big. That's something that it really helped me, like something little for the new people and make it like the big thing. So it doesn't matter, like we have, of course, big ranks and big checks, but those little, new people, when they achieve, I don't know, maybe their first $500 and you make it like a big thing, it gets everybody excited about doing it, and it's easy, right? So that really changed a lot my business in the last year. I wanted to share it.
Love it. Matt.
This is awesome. So many great tips. So we kind of take a 2-tiered approach to duplication. One is having really simple systems that give people results quickly, but then also really focusing on leadership development, because I've found that if you're over heavy on just saying like we have the best system, we have the best system, we have the best system, when people come in and they don't get the result that they want, what do they blame? They'll blame the system, right? So we want them to also look in the mirror. And I think you have to have a balance between the two. So when someone gets started, my goal is to get them a positive result in 24 hours. So that's usually either a sale of a product or they've at least had an invite that's been accepted. And then I want them in profit within 1 week. And so we set that as a super clear intention. Does it always happen? Not necessarily, but many times it does. And so the simple systems that we use for that one, the famous hot market approach that many of you have probably heard of, where they're reaching out to the people that are closest to them, asking for support, saying, hey, we need a testimonial. We're starting our business, not asking you to join it. The script that you guys have heard probably many times. And then from there, we also have a launch event where they're inviting to their launch event. And many times that's where they're breaking even in that first week.
How do you do the launch event? Describe that.
Yeah, the launch event, it depends. If we can, we try to do it in person. So we still have a lot of our business, and our team is doing 10 to 20,000 new customers every single month. And I would say the majority of that is still in-person events. However, our business is also super international. And so sometimes I'm having them, get 4 or 5 people together in their living room and I'm coming in on the Zoom. And so it's both virtual and in person. Sometimes it's just a Zoom. So it can be anything, but it's gathering a small group of people that they can introduce the products to. And then on the leadership development side, one thing I'll say really quick is we have a strong culture of investing in people. Like everybody knows that anytime I sign up a new person, even at our level, anywhere in the world, if they hit our core rank, I'm flying there. Like I am there in person on the ground, teaching them and educating them, supporting their team, getting them launched. And when people see that level of effort and commitment from me, they step up. It's easy for me to say, hey, go to the city next to you, go to the next state over. It's easy for me to request that they step up in their leadership because they see that nobody's more committed than I am. So.
Love that. Amazing.
So I'll take more of the emotional side of that. I feel like helping your team to feel comfortable emotionally is really important. And if they think you're a superstar, if they think that you know everything, it's going to be a little bit harder for them to believe, you know, maybe I could do that too. So keeping your presentations really simple is really important, and also being very vulnerable and humble. So I am always I try to be very vulnerable and admit, you know, when I make mistakes and things like that. I will sometimes even just read scripts in front of my team so that they know they can read scripts. Even if I totally know the content, I'll look down at my paper and show them I'm looking at the script. And so we've developed different systems where we have like a script for a presentation. We invite multiple people to come and teach the presentation, and they all know that they can just read the script. But that's kind of that presenter school concept that Eric was teaching. And with that, like the leadership development part, we are constantly teaching mindset, and we're doing a lot of coaching within our team so that people are taking a look at what thoughts they're having, so that they know that the circumstance they're experiencing isn't necessarily the problem, that they can actually take a look at the thoughts and the opinions and the perspectives that they have and shift those things. And so I really like helping my team to change their mindset and look past, you know, what they think that the problems are, because 99% of the time, probably 100% of the time, the problems that we think are problems, they're actually not the problems. And so doing that in a very humble way and inviting them to, because they have the genius, right? So asking really good questions and asking them, you know, what they think that they could do, they find within themselves that they actually are more capable than they thought that they were.
Love it. Jonathan.
Yeah, so for me, it's funny how it echoes a lot of what was said up here. For me, inside of duplication, really, it was two things. And I can hear the husband and wife couples, they echo it a lot. It's the heart and the structure of it, right? So inside of the heart of it, right, for me, it was just about fun. You know, and they can tell you're passionate, and they can tell you're serious, and you got this great energy. For me, I know that when you have a lot of great energy, people tend to be attracted to that, right? It's kind of like maybe that nightclub that you see a line of people, but the reason why you see a line of people is because it's projected to be like the it place, right? So whether that's in person or whether that's over social media, and I'm much better with it in person. But it's like making wherever you are the place to be. And then that's what creates the buzz, right? The excitement, the energy, the high fives, the hugs, like all that energy, right? And then you'll find people who feel like, I found my happy place. Like, I don't get recognized by my husband or my wife or my children or at work, but I come in here and I feel amazing, right? So from there, it becomes very sticky. That's where the heart process is. But the heart can grow a lot of people fast, but without a structure, it's like filling up a bag with a hole in it, right? Because they can't figure out how to get their goals, their dreams, and their life changed, then eventually they kind of fall to the wayside. So that's where you have the structure piece, right? And inside of structure, and you hear Eric talk about a lot, it's like, for me, it was about getting them to these core ranks really fast, you know, and helping them make money within the first 48 to 72 hours so they can see that it's real, not because I said so, but because they have proof, social proof to show people. And then from there, literally, you just continue to up level whatever that thing is in terms of rank. Maybe from there, it might be being at the event, but then it might be being VIP at the event, right? And then playing that game of saying, well, maybe I'm here by myself, but I'm gonna make this picture bigger. So I'm taking a selfie today. Next month, I'm having 2 of us in here. The next month, I'm having 4 of us. The next month, we're having 8. It's like the make the picture bigger game, right? There's all these different fun little ways to look at it that made people say, you know, I want to play this game. And even with the VIP seating, you're like, you know, if I can get one in VIP, then let's get a row or a table, right? And then once the table comes, then guess what happens? The leaders get pushed onto the stage because now they're changing ranks, right? So it's that game repeated over and over, and you just have fun with it. It almost doesn't feel like work because it feels like it's just a fun game.
Yeah, love that, love that. All right. Well, through all this, Yeah, like how many countries are you guys involved in? US only. How about you? How many countries?
Maybe 10?
10, Anna? 40?
So our team reaches 60 countries, but significant volume in about 10.
10, but it reaches 60, and Jonathan?
My team was 17.
17,
Yeah, 17.
17 countries. So understand, you know, that the success leaves clues, right? What'd you hear over and over and over and over and over? Heart, connection, and structure. So you gotta, you know, another word for structure is a system. The more systemized you can make things, even if you systemize innovation. Does that sound weird? Systemize it when things are getting a little dull in your group. Sometimes you just need to rename it. Sometimes you just need to come up with another excuse in order for people to go back and do the thing that they're bored with, because people get bored. We're in a repetitive business. We repeat over and over and over and over and over again. So, and quick inventory again. What percentage of your results is happening from online versus face-to-face in some capacity? If you had to guess.
See, that's hard to answer because we just consider online as part of the even face-to-face relationship. So
I know, but like, what's getting results? Because I know it's shifting. If you know, we had a mix, and then it went all online, and now it's swinging back.
probably 80-20, 80 online, 20.
80-20, how about you?
Yeah, probably 90-95% online.
Yeah, and 5 or 10
Yeah.
in person.
Yeah.
Anna,
The blonde for sure.
70-30,
We know her.
how about you guys?
Yeah, so I mean, we were like 20% online, 80% in person, and the pandemic shifted it to 80% online, 20% in person. And now I think we're probably 50-50.
50-50,
Yeah.
Jonathan,
It's about 60-40.
which way?
60-40 60-40 online because we're all online, right? But I can tell that in person, there's nothing more sticky than in person.
Yeah, so here's what I would tell you. In different cultures, there's different methods, but really, if you want to get massive duplication, who wants massive duplication? Pay absolute, total, honest attention to what's working, not to what you like, not to what's your preference, but what is actually getting results. Because there's a big difference. Sometimes there's something you're in love with that is not creating the results as much in the organization as something else. So at least have the awareness to know what's working, what's not working. All right. So here's what I'd like to do. I wish we had a lot more time, but I'd like each of you to take the stage, stand up, tell everybody, give people like a 1-minute message from you on all of these people are radically, wildly, unbelievably successful. Give them a message because they want to have what you have. They want to be able to enjoy what you're enjoying. And I know you're all stretching for higher ranks and doing bigger things. But let's start with Dan. Tell everybody, give them a message, would you?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say I said this at the beginning, but and I almost came out here and taught, you know, one of my best things that I have, and I'm like, don't do that. And I just think the higher we get up in rank, we want to portray that we're a lot better than. I mean, we've learned some things, but if people are too far away, if the distance is too far away, and people don't feel like they can ever be you, we think we're inspiring them by these things, but they don't actually believe they can do it. You know, you can inspire more people by telling them at the beginning they can make $200 a month than you can by telling them they can make $100,000 a month, because the mind just doesn't believe that. So I really believe in humility. I really believe in not trying to portray that you're something that you're not. Like, I don't like wearing a jacket or pants. That sounds weird, but just because it's not, you know. And I'm not saying I'm awesome. I'm just saying that let them know that I wasn't joking. My biggest gift to my team is like, hey, listen, seriously, we don't all the way know what we did or how we did it. If you just have a ton of belief, you use the product, it works, and you just have some grit, you can do this. That's it. Stick with me. We're going to do this. That's it. And so we try to really train that.
Love it. Megan.
Okay, I would just say, you know, I'm a big believer in that you have one life to live. You got one life. And so creating some urgency around that, because life is way too short to waste. And it's way too short to be spending it doing things you don't want to do and away from the people you love and just wishing and dreaming all the time. So the fact that we have a vehicle that can help people make their dreams into reality, we should be passionate about that. And we need to get out of the way, because when we make it about us, then we play small and we shrink back and we hold back. And if we will just get out of the way and start thinking about them instead of us, then we're going to be willing to be more bold. We're going to be willing to tell them the things that maybe they don't always want to hear. We're going to be able to face into the things in us that really need to change and evolve for us to become the kind of spouses and leaders and parents and whatever. Like, we're all evolving as leaders and as people. And so as we are committed to that journey of growth, then the people around us will be. So creating that real clarity. Are you crystal clear on what you want in the next year, 5, 10, 20 years? Are you helping people? Are you awakening them? Are you helping them decide to get really clear? And do you have an urgency that you need to do it now? Not tomorrow, not someday, not when the stars align and when it feels right and when the right door opens. No, now. Like, you are needed now, and so is your vision, and so are your gifts, and so is your voice, and so are your people. And so coming into alignment with those things, there's no stopping you.
Well done, well done.
You know, a question that is so good to ask yourself and to ask your team is, what is your relationship with being a beginner? Because it doesn't feel good to be a beginner in anything. It could be a beginner in hosting more Zooms or doing in person or creating a new launch chat or whatever that looks like, right? And somebody, when they come in, they're going to be a beginner. And all of us are beginning in something in some way every single day. Sometimes our life just takes a turn and you don't know what's coming. Being an entrepreneur is not easy, am I right? But it is so worth it. And when my kids were all 5 and under, I saw the dream. I didn't marry my husband so I would never see him every day. I didn't have 4 kids so they would never see their dad except on Sundays. I saw my husband cry when he missed the first steps of our last baby. The dream is worth it. But there's going to be a lot of climbing. There's going to be a lot of valleys. There's going to be a lot of mountaintops too. And it's the best ever. We all have to start writing our stories somewhere. So start with chapter 1. Teach your team to start with their why. And really that comes down to what's their story. No story is too big or too small. Teach them the story of their company, the story of this generation. What's the story of our generation? What's the need of your, or the product or the opportunity that your company can fill to help make that story different? What's their story? Why do they want to do it? Why will they never give up? Why will they always keep learning? It's okay to be a beginner. And I think it's okay to teach our teams that. It's okay to do live videos and feel stupid. I remember my coach telling me years ago, one of my coaches I had, he said, Amanda, your people have to see your face, so you have to start doing videos. And I said, no, I'm not doing that. I said I was going to do this industry, but I was not going to speak on stage. I was not going to do videos. And he said, if you do not do a video by the end of the week, I will not coach you next week. I was like, so I did it. And it was really bad.
No fun ideas.
But it's okay. Because we see a lot of people on stages and on videos and lots of things where they're in their chapter 20. You're looking for people to inspire, to help them to keep writing until they get there. There's a lot of chapters in between 1 and 20 that most people will never read. There's so much in my story that people will never know. But my kids will never see their mom give up. And that was a commitment I made years ago. So make your commitment, whatever that looks like to you. My commitment was to create a life of freedom for my family, a freedom where the alarm clock doesn't dictate our day. You know what I'm saying? Slow mornings, right? Nobody's rushing in a million directions. We get to decide that for our kids and our family, and change starts in the home. I love moms and dads who have big vision for the next generation, and all of us here, you all know the next generation, even if you don't have children. I'm a homeschool mom. I run a successful business, and I can choose to do both, right? It's not a life of or, it's a life of and. So choose your and. and never let go of that dream. I love you guys.
Well done, well done.
Her Facebook says she's essential oil.
I want to share 3 things. First of all, faith.
That one, that,
Have
yeah,
faith.
yeah.
I think that all of us, we're here for a reason. I think we, all of us in this profession, we have a big gift for the people out there. And we truly change lives. That's the truth. With our products, with the opportunity, and we give an opportunity to people, not just to dream, but we have the vehicle to help them, achieve those dreams. And I really think that, we need to have faith and know that we all can make it. We all can be successful if we don't quit. It's very important to have that faith. It doesn't matter if you start today. It doesn't matter if you have 20 years and you haven't made it. You always have the chance to start today, do the things that you have to do, and knowing in your heart that if a lot of people are making it happen, if I could make it happen, you can do it too. Second thing, belief. Big, strong belief in the company, in the products, in your opportunity. You have to really believe. If you don't believe in those things, you have to work on that first, because it doesn't matter if you work hard, if you don't have that belief, it's not going to work. And most of all, believe in yourself. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm a big believer on, personal development, investing in yourself. I'm all in everything this year. We go pro. I just want you to let you know. You know why? Because I realized that the year that I made the most amount of money and I had the biggest growth was the year that I invested more money in myself. And that's something that I told my team. They were asking me, like, leader, what do you think? Should I do it? 100%. Do it. If you do it. If you can invest in yourself to create the belief that you need to go to the next level, don't doubt it. Just do it, And the third thing, massive action. It doesn't matter if it's imperfect, massive action. Just take massive action. Do it today, do it tomorrow, do it every day. Just do it. You know what I mean? Because people are waiting for the best moment or the perfect time, or I need to lose weight first, or I need to, hit this goal. No, just do it. This is very simple, honestly. It's not perfect, but we all know that it's the best, right? Opportunity. And it's very simple when you commit to do the right things, the simple things, but just do it every single day and take massive action. So those are my 3 pillars that I can share with you today.
Hold on. All right, Matt.
Okay, our message is for those of you who might be feeling stuck. So whether it's like us, that first year where you're working really hard and there's still not very much physical proof that this thing is going to grow, or halfway through our journey when we were 4 years stuck at the same rank. Has anybody experienced that? And you're like, am I ever going to have the breakthrough? Right? It was 4 years of the rank right before 6 figures, right? So number one is you have to keep going. Every single day you live this dance between patience and urgency, right? Where you say, okay, I'm going to do this no matter how long it takes. But at the same time, if I don't figure it out today, if I don't figure out what I'm missing today to have my breakthrough, then it's taking too long. If I'm not taking massive action today, right, then it doesn't matter if you're patient forever. You could be patient for 20 years and never have results. But you have to have the urgency also of saying, what am I missing? And look for people like Eric who have experienced being stuck, and then they have the breakthrough. Like you hear him talk about his first couple of years, man, that gave me hope. That kept me going. That kept me working and saying, what am I missing? What do I need to change inside of myself so that I can figure this out? So live that dance between patience and urgency every single day. Be committed no matter how long it takes, but also be willing to do and change and do whatever it takes for you to break through. And it will happen for you. So love you guys.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right, what I have for you guys is I want to talk to you for a tiny moment about vulnerability. This is a buzzword. We all hear about it. We think that vulnerability means to be real, but it's actually so much more than just being real. It's being willing to feel the emotions that are coming up for you. And that is so hard to do, to really, truly do, and to be humble enough to do it. But all of the issues, all of the situations that are challenging in your business are only challenging because of the feelings that you're feeling and the judgments that you're having about the situation. And if we can be vulnerable and if we can allow ourselves to feel the emotion that we're feeling and not judge it. Someone comes to me and they tell me, I'm done. I have to quit. I can't do this anymore. And I am not willing to feel a feeling, then I'm going to try to fix it. I'm going to try to coerce them. I'm going to try to manipulate. I'm going to try to fix the situation. But if I can breathe and I can look at them and I can see them and I can be in that space, then I can have a crucial conversation. I can be compassionate. I can ask them really good questions. If I'm freaked out and I'm not willing to just breathe, then I'm not going to be able to be compassionate and I'm not going to be in alignment with who I truly am, right? And so you can come to an event like this and you can feel so motivated. It's easy to feel motivated here because you have people that are telling you really exciting things. You're going to go home and you're going to have your own thoughts. You will have your own limiting beliefs every single day, multiple times a day. But what you can do is you can start to coach yourself. You can start to write down, what are the problems? What am I afraid of? What's coming up for me? And then look at them, not as facts, but as thoughts. If you can see them as thoughts, then you can start to change them. You can start to shift them and you can start to get into a state that's really empowering for you.
Awesome.
Wow. Didn't they all do a great job? I'm sitting there thinking like, I wish I had my notepad so I can take notes on everything they're saying. You know, but for me guys, success requires sacrifice. You know, if you can show me your sacrifices, then I know that I can help you get some success. You know, and success can show up, sacrifice can show up in a lot of different ways. It could be a sacrifice of time. It could be a sacrifice of money. You know, shout out to each and every one of you guys who are in the room, but also all of you guys who are, you know, watching, right? You know, you guys are like tuned in, you guys, you know, made the upfront commitment to actually be on screen, you know, and it's all you guys that make this thing so powerful. But those sacrifices that you made, whose first time is it at this event, right? Yeah, so these upfront commitments that you make in a time like this literally lets you know that you're willing to make some changes in your life, right? And I just want to acknowledge everyone for doing that. So for me, it was sacrifice, it was success, and then I had to be willing to make some changes. My life wasn't the way I wanted it to be. But the thing is that we want to grow, but we don't want to change. Right? But name something that grows that doesn't change. Right? So in order to grow, we must change. But in order to change, we have to trust. Right? And trust over time builds faith. But guess what? And then faith makes us grow again. Right? So coming into the mastermind myself, you know, I had to make an upfront commitment. I was willing to change. I wanted to grow. And then I got around these people and I started to trust the process. Now being here over and over, right? It builds faith. But starting back early in my business, it's the same type of philosophy. I came in and I saw these leaders and all I wanted to do was become a leader. And then inside of becoming a leader, I knew I needed to create more leaders. So sitting in the seats, wherever you are, as you guys are taking notes, I want to leave you with that philosophy of those things. I came in and maybe you're sitting for the first time and you're like, you know what? I want to follow those leaders. But then I want to become the leader. But then I want to create some leaders. But here's the key, never stop following the leaders, which is why we're all here today. I want to thank all of you and thank Eric and everybody else who's watching because we're still following you guys.
All right, all right. Let's give them all a big round of applause. Everybody stand up. Let's get a quick picture. 6 of us. Let me get in the middle. We got a photographer somewhere. He's coming quick. We got the crane up there. Cameraman. Get somebody to run around. It's going running. Where to go? Here it comes. All right. Step back just a bit. See if we can get it. All right, few more big round of applause, everybody.
Yeah. Let's hang out for a little bit together. No, let's keep that music on. Let's maybe dance a little bit. I don't know. I'm not really a dancer. My wife's a dancer. She's a great dancer. Every time I'm dancing next to her, I'm like, I'm the worst dancer in history. This dancing, really, really, I don't know. Yeah, let's dance for just a minute. We only have like a minute 15, but all right, that's enough. Okay. I know I was getting warmed up too, but the moment I warmed up, you don't want any of that. Oh my gosh, that was so fun. I have always wanted to do this. Let's try the wave together, starting right here all the way across. I'm gonna run across with you. 1, 2, 3. Gotta be quick here because we have a panel. I'm taking too much time, and that is so much fun. Thanks for the energy. Oh. Okay, couple reminders. Pictures with Eric after. This is important that we discuss this really quickly. You know, I'm having a lot of fun up here. I am like, oh, lots of energy, all of those things. Man, I'm trying to catch my breath. You guys are all breathtaking. You've taken it all away from me. That's what it is. So, what is happening? Okay, please. I'm going crazy up here. So, having a good time, guys? Yeah, lots of value, right? I always like to bookend this and say, you know what, it's so powerful when we have value. It's also very important that as we have that value, we take into account the necessary steps to move that value forward into our life, into our business. So, a couple of things as Eric has been up here training on duplication and he's been doing his panels, I've just been noticing that there are a lot of you here in the room right now that already are very successful in your business. And oftentimes when we reach a level of success where we go, we've got it down, we've figured it out, we start to lose sight of what we really need to do, even when we are truly successful in our business. What were the things that got you to where you are now? Was it sitting on the sidelines or was it getting belly to belly? Was it coming out to events? Going live, right? So I do want to find out. You know, earlier I talked about 2 different opportunities. We talked about the Beyond Leadership training, and then we had the Breakthrough Bootcamp. So how many of you see huge value in learning from someone like Eric and from Network Marketing Pro? Raise your hands. Have you felt it here today? When we get it in a room like this, we're getting it in a structure where we're getting so excited. There's so much that we get from this. There's value that we get, but unstructured value when we have so much thrown at us? Have you also felt like you've been fire hose? Who's felt being fire hose? Okay. Let's name a bunch of the things we've learned. What have you learned? Name something you learned. Campaigns, what else? Challenges, what else? Leadership, what else? AI, duplication. We could keep going. And as that list grows, that list, those are all things that we've learned here, but to go out and actually apply, we need to have the structure. So when Eric talks about these categories, category 1, category 2, category 3, the reason he had you self-identify your business in one of those 3 categories is because when you identify in one of those categories, you can identify your learning path to get through to the next step. Now, I've been building coaching programs with companies for 20 years, helping individuals just like you to take knowledge, put it into their life, then go out and apply it in various areas. The way Eric has defined these steps for you is very critical that you understand, because your next steps are easily defined. So I want to find out again, how many of you once again identified as a 1 while you were sitting in this room? Raise your hands if you identified there. Keep them up so we get an idea. We got to get full participation on this so we get an idea. All right. It's amazing. Let's give these 1s a round of applause right there. It's amazing that they're here. Right? Good. 2s. Where's our 2s again? Raise your hand, 2s. Okay. 2s. All right. So we have a lot of 2s in the room right now. With 2s, what's the next step for a 2? They should be where? Well, where should they be as far as their next step of training? What day is it? February 19th through 22nd. Once again, where should those 2s be? Beyond leadership. How many of you are 3s? Raise your hand. Raise them up high. I don't feel like I got everybody on this. I think we got most of us. Okay. So we talked earlier about getting the most out of the training and the most out of it. That requires full participation. You've been doing amazing so far. We're on day 2. We have a little bit more to go. I want you to keep in mind when you've gotten started, and a lot of people have clicked on the links, gone through into those academies. When you get started with the package today, you're going to be taking pictures with Eric, so make sure and get that done before end of today. When you take that action and get it done by the end of today, you get that additional social proof for you in your life and in your business. When you've got that picture next to Eric, that means something to everyone on your team. It means something to every single person who eventually comes into your organization. So make sure you take advantage of that opportunity. So I'm going to bring Eric back up here. He's got more training to do. He's got more opportunities for you to learn. And as he comes on up here, we want to give him the most warm welcome he's received so far, because do you think he's a little bit tired? No, he's not tired. He is he's full of energy. In fact, have you ever seen Eric Worre do like the hair flip back? He did that to me. He said, Robbie, get out there and do something pretty with that hair. He said that like a while ago, and I was like, yeah, I saw him do this. And I was like, that is so elegant. He does this so well. Eric does that. And Eric has full energy. He's still here, but we've got to give him that support so that he knows that we're still behind him. So let's definitely give him a nice, rousing welcome, Mr. Eric. All right.
All right, all right. This thing gets so low. All right. How many people have at least 7 pages of notes? We're going to be done long before 6 p.m. We got an early morning tomorrow. You guys will be able to have a nice early evening this evening. And I know inside of this thing, we haven't had any time for spaced repetition, have we? To be able to like, oh, that's a good idea. Let me go think on that. Nope, because we're giving you the next idea, the next 15 seconds, and then the next one, and the next one. So collect it. There's going to be time to implement. I do want to pivot. I just want to give you a short conversation about leadership before we close the day. I just want you to think, okay? And for those of you who are considering the Breakthrough Bootcamp which will be fun, 21 weeks together. If you want to really take your skill set and your mindset to the next level, I'd invite you in there. We're gonna have everybody, we're gonna have them pass out the forms. Go ahead and pass them all out to everybody. If you're already making 250 plus, just pass it on because it's not for you. Okay, that's not for you. It's fine if you want to go attend it with your team to show some support. Fine, but it's not for you. We have essentially, just so you know, everything that we have. We have our GoPro event, which we'll have next year. We'll let you get either in-person tickets or virtual tickets, making a few adjustments, but we'll let you know at the end of the day tomorrow about that. Okay. Second thing is the breakthrough boot camp, 21 days. That's designed, skill set, mindset, getting unstuck. You feel stuck in any way. And I will tell you, all you leaders that are making big money, the more people you get in there, the more people get unstuck, the faster we can move them forward. It really, truly can help. Third is beyond leadership. If you need to step into leadership, and there's a massive leadership gap in network marketing, and there's a massive leadership gap in your group, every one of you. And I'm going to describe it in a moment. And you're not making 250 yet, you should be in beyond leadership. Got something else going on, figure it out. The time really matters. And in 4 days, I can put you on a path to get you where you need to go. I really can. I've helped 1,000 people get to $1 million a year. 1,000. I don't know if it's possible to get 1,000 people to $1 million a month, but at least it's in my head. You know, I don't know where those are going to come from and what needs to happen, but a big mind shift needs to happen for that type of success to kick into gear. It's doable. I know it's doable, but it's a big aspirational stretch. But if you're making 250 plus, we're going to have a conversation tomorrow. There's a real serious leadership conversation tomorrow. And I want to give you a debrief on a lot of kind of high level stuff. But we have a mastermind group that's only for 250 plus. The average in the mastermind group is about $1 million. The average earnings in the group. You have to be making at least 250 to be eligible to get into that.
Wow.
I'll let those people know at the end of that between 8 and 9 about that opportunity. Now, let me tell you the biggest thing if you want to leverage your leverage. This is a cheat code. As influencers, as major leaders, as large organization people, anytime you can find a way to leverage, do it. So in other words, those who have gotten big groups into this room for 3 days had a different form of leverage from people who didn't, right? Those who get people to get their skills figured out and get unstuck as a group are going to have much better results than figuring it out by yourself and then trying to push the rock uphill with the rest of your team. I can be a form of leverage for you. You know, I've helped people get to the $1 million a year because I helped them teach a whole group of people how to get to 6 figures. So if you let me be a leverage tool for you, things can change quick, really quick. You plug in, if you try and do it by yourself, look, you can get there. I'm just telling you, I'm a cheat code. I'm a little bit of a time machine. If you're serious enough anyway, you're going to get there anyway. I can just help you get there quicker. I'm 59 years old, about to be 60. It's a weird number. It's like, what the hell? How did that happen? It's very strange. Right? You ever do a selfie and it scares you? Like, what happened? Who is this person? Back up a little bit, something. So I think about time slightly different, you know, with these milestone birthdays, right? My doc says I'm, another 60 is a lock. Okay. I'll take it. But I look at time different and I look at contribution different. If I can find a leverage point My mentor, Jim Rohn, wanted to be the person who influenced the few, who influenced the many. And that's where I live, is finding the people who are hungry enough so I can influence them to go influence the world. It's not the 1,000,000 people making them, or excuse me, 1,000 people making $1 million that makes me happy. What makes me happy is how many people they had to positively impact in order to do that. That's what makes me happy. Okay, I want the same for you. The faster you can get equipped, the better. The faster you can get your people's minds right, the better. The faster you get your systems in place, the better. The faster you can identify and mentor more leaders on your team, the better. All right. So if you're not going at the velocity you're going, you basically got 3 choices. Do it on your own. And, you know, God bless you. I'm giving you as much as I can give you over the course of these 3 days. These notes should go home and create a playbook for you, for sure. I'm just telling you, I can help you get there 10 times faster. If we take 21 weeks for some of you, if we take 4 days for others of you, if we get you involved in a mastermind of really, really smart people, and we crowdsource every single idea that's working in the network marketing world, and we grow as a group. That's it. That's all there is. There's nothing else to know. There's nothing else to think about. There's nothing else to decide. If you're making less than 250, you got 2 choices. Or do it on your own. And there's nothing wrong with that. I would just encourage you not to crawl any longer than is necessary. I want you to get up and run. Okay? So let me talk to you about leadership. As they're passing this out, and listen, I want to take pictures with as many of you as make one of those decisions. And for all the next level mastermind people, we're going to spend so much time together, you're going to be sick of me anyway. True story. I want to talk to you about leadership. Real leadership. Real leadership takes some time. So to become a real leader, you could be an influencer, you can be an earner, but to be a real leader, here are the 5 characteristics of a leader. Independent, not needy. They can just go build this with or without help. They've got this. 2, they're good problem solvers. They don't just give problems to other people, they solve them. Number 3, they're consistent. They got a baseline of consistency. They never fall below. They spike above it, but they don't go underneath it. That builds trust. 4, they have a big vision and the ability to communicate that vision to other people. And 5, they create action. They cause people to do things they wouldn't have done if that leader wasn't involved. Now, are any of those particularly difficult to learn? Forget that fancy thing. Give me my graph.
Please don't deactivate me.
These 5 things, are they impossible to learn? No. I want you to be honest. How many of you in this room feel like you have all 5? Raise your hands. Look at the room. Look at the rest of the room. We're talking 10% of the room, maybe 15% of the room have all 5. Big earners in this room. Second question. How many people on your team have all 5? I want you to make the little list right now, quickly. Make a list. How many on your team have all 5? And if they don't come to mind quickly, they don't have all 5. You want to make $1 million a year? Here's the formula. Find about 20. And you'll make $1 million a year. 20. So long as they're not in one line or something. You know, reasonably balanced. 20. with these characteristics, can you mentor people into this? Yes or no? Of course you can. Can you develop those 5 attributes? Yes or no? Of course you can. These are my 5. You come up with your own, whatever. If there's a different 5 that you want to have, go ahead. But this is how I measure inside of network marketing. Who's a player? Who's a leader? So there is a serious leadership gap in network marketing. Massive. We have lots of earners. We have lots of tourists. People come and go. We love our tourists. We got posers. We got amateurs everywhere. But to grow leadership, how long do you think it takes for a real leader to say, you know what, I've got these 5 characteristics? Those of you who have it, raise your hands. Have all 5. How long did it take? 2.5, 3 years, 3 years, 7 years, 6 years, 5 years, 10, 3 to 4 years. Life journey, 2 years, 2 years, 5 years, 5, 2 years, 8, 5, 1. Very nice. What was the average of that number? Let's call it 3. Let's just call it 3. So what do we need to do while we're developing leaders? We got to buy time. We have to have systems. We got to have skills. We have to have campaigns. We have to have challenges. We have to have projects. We need to get them around events. Raise your hand if the ones that raised your hand before that have all 5, if you would have been a leader if it wasn't for if the company didn't have events, would you still have all 5? One person. Leaders are born there, I'm telling you. Big decisions are made there. People get pissed off at events. They say, why not me at events? Some of you are thinking, maybe it's my turn. Why am I playing so small? People making huge money. They're just like normal people. Humble, nice, normal people, but they've added zeros to their income. I thought I was something until I started hearing about these other people. You start feeling like you're a big deal, you're in the wrong room. I'm just telling you, you're hanging out with the wrong people. I told Patrick yesterday, I love people that piss me off. I love top earners that piss me off. I love entrepreneurs that piss me off. I love somebody who stretches me and says, well, you know, what is your problem? They don't say that, but I feel it. It's like, damn it. They're right. So here's the biggest problem in network marketing. Since it takes time, leadership grows very slowly. I've never seen a company ever that's grown more than 10% per year in leadership. Not in 35 years. You say, well, we have a lot of growth. Okay. You might have sales. You might have earners. You might have rank advancement. But you don't have leadership yet because some of you are brand new, right? How many of you have ever been in momentum? Raise your hands. Your company's ever been in momentum. So let's talk about momentum. Momentum's more than 10% growth. Who's in momentum right now? Raise your hands. How much growth year over year? 120%? Who else? 79%? 179%. Fantastic. Who else? 75%. Who else? Give me a number. Come on. How much? 1,000%. So let's just pick a number and say, leadership is 10, let's be generous. 10% growth. It's not 10% growth, just so you know. It's like 2. But sales, it's 200%, 100%, 50%, 80%. And normally there's been this ceiling in network marketing. There's been this $1 billion ceiling that people have this momentum and then they'd hit $1 billion and then stuff would happen and things would start to unravel. There's always an excuse. There's always something to blame. Comp plan changed, leadership changed, somebody quit, somebody did this, all that stuff. They've changed the product, they changed the flavor, they screwed up a country launch. It's always something to blame. But here's the deal. The fundamentals of your business is here. The sales is here. While this is happening, and you're having rank advancements and record-breaking growth, and everybody feels like they're superhuman. They all feel like they're unicorns. They all feel like they're mythical creatures. We've cracked the code. We've changed the paradigm of network marketing. We have reinvented everything. I feel sorry for all the other dinosaurs that are involved in our profession. They're all going to join us because we're smashing every record in history. During momentum, does your leadership line go up? Are people focused on leadership? Are they focused on skills? Are they focused on development? No, they're just focused on being busy, plugging into a few people, leading the charge, and you got momentum, and it's exciting and it's fun. But your actual leadership growth goes down. You have tons of earners. You think they're leaders, they think they're leaders, they call themselves a leader, they're not a leader. Here's how you know. When you throw adversity at them and see how they respond. When something changes, when something happens, then you find out if you have a leader or if you have an earner. I'm setting you up for tomorrow to let you know the importance of you developing you. If this is the fundamentals, if you're a publicly traded company, this is the fundamentals of your company. And this is your stock price. What must happen? One of two things. Either the leadership has to rise to the level of sales, or the sales will fall to the level of leadership. I don't care how revolutionary you are. I don't care. Some of you have been around for a minute. Think about any company in your career that was in momentum. And what happened? How'd they do after momentum? Because here's what happens. It's either going to plateau, which is best case scenario, to plateau long enough for the leadership line to rise and catch it, or it's going to fall. And in almost every case, it falls. And that's actually healthy. To have sales align with the actual leadership in your organization, it's just called consolidation. It's called a correction. It's called eventually it's going to find an equilibrium and there's going to be a fair value for the leadership involved necessary to support the sales. So when this happens, now you find out what you got. You find out, oh, I thought I had leaders. Let me give you all of the things that happen as a result of this leadership gap. This is the gap between leaders and sales. During this time, You have false expectations, free money, bad habits, entitlement in the field, bad behavior actually being rewarded. Like I say, there's always an excuse for this. Be a product change, comp plan change, corporate executive change. A key leader leaves the company and raids the organization and tells lies about the company. A competitor shows up, creates distraction, bad economy, pandemic, regulators, bad press, haters in the marketplace, targeting the organization, lazy culture, Zoom fatigue. Nobody wants to go to work. Our leaders are making too much money. They got soft. And here's what happens. Here's how the field typically reacts, because they went through this magic carpet ride and everything worked and everything was crushing and everybody was making money. And it's so fun when that's happening. Okay? I understand the fun. I've been in that place. It's like, man, finally, this is fun. Here's how the field reacts. A group of them stop working and just start collecting checks. You ever come on the other side of momentum? Think of the group that stopped working completely and just started collecting checks. Some start to loudly criticize the company. It's the company's fault. They screwed up with this. They didn't have enough inventory. They didn't innovate enough. They innovated too much. The comp plan enhancement didn't work out as expected. They don't listen anymore. You know, we're sitting on the advisory board, blah, blah, blah. Some play victim. Some quit. As soon as it plateaus, they're making 10 times what they're really worth. And they quit. They were making 100 grand a month. Now they're making 60. And they say, heck with this. You think it's a joke? It's serious. It's for real. And they go get a job making 100 grand a year. What is the matter with these people? Some quit, join another company and raid the old company that gave them all this momentum. And they start saying it was over there. They didn't listen over there. We have this new thing over here. Some demand promotions, flash sales, easier qualifications from the company, which makes the field addicted to promotions instead of the regular compensation plan. Company margins get squeezed. Other people become authors and speakers and coaches and advisors, and they start side hustles all over the place. Don't worry, I'm not worried about a competitor. I'm just telling you, when all your leaders start writing books, being a TikTok coach, being an Instagram coach, being a LinkedIn coach, being a relationship coach, being a hypnotist. That's a clue. Some become affiliates for other products, which creates some unintended consequences sometimes. They start repping other things. Very few people are part of the solution. Most are part of the problem. So, I want to give you two things before we end today. How to effectively manage momentum and how to break out of a plateau or decline. I want you to think on this overnight. If you're in momentum right now, congratulations, but you must get serious right now. You do not have the luxury of time. It's not going to continue for forever. You grew 500% year over year. Wonderful. Fantastic. I'm proud of you. Amazing. How many years in a row can you do 500%? And what are you going to do on the other side of it? And take really honest inventory. How many actual leaders do you have versus earners? How many egos are in your organization that are undeserved. They think that they're King Kong. They think that they're an absolute beast. They're not. They're in the right place, right time, caught a wave. Congratulations, wonderful. I don't care if you got 50 six-figure earners on your team or 100 six-figure earners on your team. If you don't have 100 leaders on your team, then those earners are temporary. When it gets tough, they're gone. You're going to be struggling to pick up the pieces. I'm just letting you know, if you're in momentum, how many people have been in momentum and know exactly what I'm talking about? Raise your hands. If you're in momentum, you can handle it. Very few companies, because companies buy into the same stuff. They're releasing all their numbers every single month. Here's how much we're growing. Here's how much we're selling. Here's all the records we're breaking. The moment that it adjusts, they stop giving out numbers. They say, no, our attorneys told us it was probably a bad idea. They don't want to admit that it's on the other side of momentum. So take momentum. It's great. Wonderful. Cash the checks. Keep your lifestyle at your leader level. Let that sink in. Keep your lifestyle at your leader level, not your income level. This is all bonus money. This is all something that's just a gift. Congratulations. But if you keep your income at the leader level, when it adjusts, when everybody else took their income to their lifestyle to their income level, when it adjusts, now they're all desperate. Now they're all freaking out. Hard to do. Easy to think that you're a genius. It's easy to think that you hit the lottery. Hard to keep your income, your lifestyle at your leader level. So let me give you some steps. And John, you can write these down. Thank you. How to effectively manage momentum. Number one, if you're in momentum right now, do not take it for granted. Run, 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 run. This is not a time to sleep. It's not a time to go on vacation. It's not a time to rest. It's not a time for balance. Get as much of this as you can get and tell your team to do the same thing. Run, 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 run. It's got to be the message. This is not forever. This is a season. Get as much of this season as you can get. Number two, let the field know this is not normal. And almost nobody wants to do this, but you must. You have to tell the team, this is not normal. This is a phenomenon. This is amazing. We're going to ride it for as long as we can, but it has to correct. It has to level off because we're not going to break the laws of all global business. I'm sorry, no matter how cool the story sounds, it's at some point something's going to happen. Now, sometimes there are companies that defy all the normal rules. In the last 10 years, there's been two companies that stayed at 30 to 40% year-over-year growth for 8 straight years. Had it never happened in 45, 55, 60 years in network marketing. Never. But they did. Then they finally leveled off. You should have saw the reaction. Just from level off, let alone decline. Holy moly. Let the field know this is not normal. Explain to the field that it has to stop or drop at some point. So they're not shocked when it does. Let them know that there's always going to be an excuse. There's always going to be a reason. But the truth is, sales can only be sustained if leadership is there to sustain it. Not earnership, leadership is there to sustain it. Next, during momentum, train your people and develop leaders. Train your people and develop leaders. You have to train when it doesn't seem like you need to. You have to develop when it doesn't seem like it's necessary. You have to identify people that have the potential of being a leader and says, I'm gonna need you. I don't need you to be a leader now, but I'm gonna need you to be a leader when this gets hard, and it's going to get hard. And I'm gonna build an army of leaders so when it corrects, we're all prepared when everybody else is not gonna be prepared. Let them know we will prepare. We're gonna prepare for when it corrects, and we're gonna be ready to capitalize on the moment. That's our moment. When it corrects, when it adjusts, and everybody else freaks out, our team is gonna gain market share. Our team is gonna gobble it all up. That's our time to shine. Right now, it's our time to run and develop. Ultimately, when it adjusts, when it corrects, we're gonna say, we already knew this was coming. Now it's our time to shine. Now we're gonna smash. Okay? If you'll have the discipline, emotional discipline to do this when you're in momentum, I don't care if it's 20% year over year growth, anything that's more than 10, you're gonna have to really stay focused on real leader development, not earners, not egos, not any of that stuff, real leaders. You're gonna have to. You have a question? Hit it. Hold on.
Thank you so much, Eric, for all this training. I've been learning a lot. Well, I have seen that some top leaders, they have become millionaires, not in their first company, probably in the second or third company. When is the right time? Or how do you know when is the right time to leave a company and go for another one?
Oh. Isn't that like insanely?
No, it's a fair question. When is the right time to leave and go build someplace else? Here's what I would tell you. Should you always stay with the company that you're with for the rest of your life? I know it would be nice, wouldn't it? You could dig your roots deep and just go. Here's, in my opinion, there's a few things.
Let's do the other guy from yesterday where they all went.
Stay in the integrity of the company.
Then you gotta go talk to somebody.
If you get to know that they don't have the field's interests at heart, or if they've betrayed trust, or you lack conviction, you've eaten from the tree of good and evil, and you now see things that other people don't see, there comes a time when you're not willing to bring your friend into that culture because you don't believe in the future. That's a time. Other times when, if they're mortally wounded and there's no,
Ready to leave his company.
you don't see a way
I also be asked
out the other side, they didn't prepare,
Somebody go find him on social media.
and you don't see a way for them to get there. There's a great leader in your company, they almost always find a way. They'll find the money, they'll pivot, they'll figure things out. Like a long time ago, a group called NSA, National Safety Associates, sold water filters. Didn't look like they were going to be able to pivot, but they had great leadership. They went through big difficulty, and then they pivoted into Juice Plus, and now they're a very successful company globally, wildly successful. So if you believe in the leadership, that they will pivot, that they'll find a way, that they'll find an answer, all of that stuff. But I mean, if it's an integrity issue, if it's congruency, if you can't look people in the eye and tell them it's a great opportunity. Now, when it dips, that doesn't mean it's not a great opportunity. The prospect didn't change. Do you want to understand something? When you're growing like this, the prospect stayed the same. When you're declining, the prospect stayed the same. They didn't change. The field changed, their entitlement changed, their bad habits were exposed, all those different types of things. So just because it's in decline doesn't mean it's not a good opportunity and it's not going to be rebuilt. It's just a matter of, are you going to be part of the solution moving forward or part of the problem? don't just shift, because that's gonna be the thing that makes you money. It's not a formula to just go here, bounce until you find the thing that hits momentum. The solution for long term is if you have momentum, treat it with responsibility and emotional intelligence. So when you don't have momentum and it's work, everybody doesn't go on strike. See what I mean? Make sense? Sensitive issue, I know, right? But some of you, I mean, look, it would be the best thing in the world. Find one company, stay there for forever. And I envy those that have been able to do that. It's always best. Dig your roots deep and go. Okay, but sometimes it's taken out of your control. Sometimes investors and ownership get in a fight and they blow it up. You know, sometimes things are taken out of your control. But control what you can control. Okay, you are the asset. You are the asset. You as leaders are the asset. You develop more leaders and a team, that team is an asset, right? Not saying that your team is something. I'm just saying the leaders in the team are the asset. Your relationships, your skills, and your beliefs. That's your asset. Okay? So that's how you manage momentum. Here's how to break out of a plateau or decline. If you're plateaued right now or in decline, plateau or decline. Number one, frame the narrative. Frame the narrative. You control the headline. If you plateau, you can explain what's going on, or you can let the earners in your organization create the narrative for you. Because are the earners going to take responsibility, or are they going to be blaming? Blaming. So the leaders of the companies have to frame the narrative. Here's what's going on. Give you an example. In that video I played at the CEO Summit, if you guys have that available, I'll play it again. Company I work with, pre-pandemic, doing 25 million a month in sales. Today, they're doing 25 million a month in sales. First year of the pandemic, they went to 70 million. So 25, solid growth, great. 70 million, back to 25. So what's the narrative? If the earners had anything to say about it, the narrative is we're down 60%. This is a disaster. We have to do something. Everything's falling apart. But a leader would say, in this situation, we're stable, we're solid as a rock, and everybody got a bonus during the pandemic. Who's ready to go? Yeah, we created some earners that thought they were big shots, but now let's develop you into leaders if you want to be able to go grow with us. You got a chance to control the narrative. So you got my lemon video? Play it. Control the narrative. Oh, hold on. Back it up. Turn the volume on.
Lemons. Make lemonade? No. First, you roll out a multimedia campaign to convince people lemons are incredibly scarce, which only works if you stockpile lemons, control the supply, then a media blitz. Lemons are the only way to say I love you, the must-have accessory for engagements or anniversaries. Roses are out, lemons are in. Billboards that say she won't have sex with you unless you've got lemons. You got the beers in on it. Limited edition lemon bracelets, yellow diamonds called lemon drops. You get Apple to call their new operating system OS Lemon. Little accent over the O. You charge 40% more for organic lemons, 50% more for conflict-free lemons. You pack the capital with lemon lobbyists. You get a Kardashian to suck a lemon wedge on sex day. Timothy Chalamet wears lemon shoes at Cannes. The hashtag campaign. Something isn't cool or tight or awesome. No, it's lemon. You see that movie? Did you go to that concert? It was effing lemon. Billie Eilish. OMG hashtag lemon. You get Dr. Oz to recommend 4 lemons a day and a lemon suppository supplement to get rid of the toxins, because there's nothing scarier than toxins. Then you patent the seeds. You write a line of genetic code that makes lemons look just a little more like tits, and you get a gene pattern for the tit lemon DNA sequence. You cross-pollinate, you get those seeds circulating in the wild, and then you sue the farmers for copyright infringement when that genetic code shows up on their land. Sit back, rake in the millions, and then when you're done, and you've sold your lempire for a few $1 billion, then, and only then, you make some fucking lemonade. Life ends.
Pardon the colorful language, but truth, truth. You control the narrative. Whatever is going on, frame it in the most positive way. You decide. You can also let people know people had bad habits. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to develop great habits. We're going to learn from what happened. We're going to learn from those of you in first time momentum, say, I'm going to learn from what Eric's sharing from 35 years. So we develop leaders instead of bad habits and big egos. We're going to develop strength instead of weakness. So when the wind comes, the hurricane comes. And that's what momentum is. It's a hurricane. If you're not prepared, it's going to blow all the buildings down. There's going to be nothing left on the other side of that momentum. Make a list of all the huge momentum companies that you've ever seen in your life and tell me where they are today. In more difficult times, if not gone. I can make you a long list. So it's not that we don't want it, but you have to be emotionally mature and emotionally mature, mentally prepared. Now, so how to get out of it? Frame the narrative, the most positive version of the truth. Be candid, be straight, but the most positive version. He went overboard on when life gives you lemons, what to do with it. But he makes a good point. Challenge every limiting belief. The prospect was the same going up. The prospect is the same going down. Same exact prospect. They haven't changed. If somebody has a limiting belief that nobody wants our product anymore, that's their limiting belief. It's not the truth. If it was selling a year ago, it's still selling now. You're just not selling. Same limiting beliefs on prospects. The prospects have gotten so much better today versus what they were 5 years ago. It's unbelievable. Work from home, side hustle, gig culture, be your own boss. They've never been more open than what we have. And we beat every single side hustle business in the world. There's nothing even close. But if you let some limiting belief that this is over, network marketing's in trouble, regulators this, and this is the problem that, and the Facebook changed the algorithm. If you let it happen, it's on you. You got to be prepared to not let these limiting beliefs kick in. You got to challenge them all and replace them with empowering beliefs. Take deep inventory. Who do you got when you come out the other side of momentum? Take deep inventory. Find out what you got to work with. This is a hard one. Some of you need to think about this tonight. You need to emotionally release your top monthly check. Some of you are not at that top monthly check. You got to emotionally let that go. And understand it was a gift and it was nice and it was fun, but it wasn't real. And I'm going to go build something real. You feel less than. I talk to people all the time. They were making $1 million a year. Now they're making $500,000. They're all broke in their head. Every one of them broke, dead broke. They have no money.
Okay. Well, that's because they were living.
Same income, 500,000. If they were making 250, now they're making 500. They're rich, absolutely rich. Now, you have to also discipline your leaders, please. I beg you, momentum people, momentum people, momentum people. I beg you, set your lifestyle based upon your leaders, not based upon your income. You do that, you're good. If you let them go bananas, like this is going up for forever, It's gonna be ugly. You're gonna have desperate people. When you have desperate people, those people are gonna try to sell themselves to the highest bidder, some other company that's gonna wanna take them over. And they'll raid your organization, tell lies about it, say it's over for you. It's on you. Focus on fundamentals. Simplify everything. Point to the spear. Go back to what worked best when you were flying. Simplify everything. Simple, simpler. Sometimes when you grow, you get, now you have 1,000 SKUs and 1,000 different categories and 1,000 different directions. Come back to a focus, find a focus, point of the spear, use that as your lead. Get back into the fundamentals, more conversations. Quantity is the solution to your almost every problem. Conversations, presentations, events, income producing activities. Focus on the activity. Don't even worry about the results. Quantity will get things moving. Then you can increase quality. And finally, you need to refresh your mind. You need to refresh your mind. You need to get your brain back to the time when you were fresh and excited and growing. You need to release your list of excuses. And you need to get fresh again. The Christians would call it being born again, having a fresh mindset, a fresh attitude, a fresh excitement, a fresh approach. And you need to tell your leaders to do the same thing. You got to refresh your mind. You got to tell your company executives to do the same thing. Because if you're always bitter or angry because this happened and that happened and this happened and that happened, you don't understand, I did this and my leaders are doing that. If you stay in that mindset, you're never going to be able to get out of the slump that you're in. There will be people, if you have good leadership in your company, there will be people that do it, but it won't be you. Don't argue for these limiting beliefs. Refresh your mind. So listen, I'm giving you a lot today to talk about, think about. I wanted you to have this to really get yourself clear. I beg you, my friends came from all over the world. Challenge everyone in your organization to invest in themselves, to become the leader that they need to be. Have an honest relationship with everybody on your team and take inventory on these 5 attributes. And if they don't have them, find out if they're willing, coachable, and hungry. And if they are, start to mentor them. Have them mentor you on your weaknesses. You mentor them on theirs. But the thickness of true leadership is the ultimate asset. It is the most priceless thing in our entire profession. Commit to that, and everything else will be easy. Commit to that when everybody else is running around like chickens with their heads cut off. The sky is falling, the sky is falling. You're going to be the lighthouse in the storm. The lighthouse that just says, I'm here, it's good. And those that do it, I'm just here to tell you, the next 2 years, if I had to describe it in one word, network marketing profession, you know what it would be? Chaos. Because there's so much earner dysfunction in our profession. People are going to be companies are going to be imploding, teams are going to be falling apart. And you know what people are going to be looking for? Leaders, systems, posture, strength, certainty, wisdom. That's what they're going to be looking for. You become known for that, the whole world will beat a path to your door. You won't be able to keep them away. That's the most valuable thing that I could give you. So I hope you got value from today. Talk with our team. I'd love to get a picture with you. And I'll see you all tomorrow morning. We'll bring Robbie back up for some housekeeping. Love you all.
Get my energy up. So
Actually, go ahead and sit down. Let's just move this thing together because I know everybody is just restless. We have spent time when you sup at the feet of masters like Eric Worre. It does drain you. Have you noticed that sitting in trainings like this can actually really, your energy level is like, wow, how much of my brain was I using? Did you feel that today? You know, I feel like I also used a lot of my heart today. I feel like there's so many of you here today who are impacting every one of us with your energy. Those of you that are home, I can see you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being part of this all the way through the day. We have one more day tomorrow, so I want to go through a couple of items to make sure we're prepared. Replay reminder. After 3 hours, the replay turns back on. It will populate in your dashboard. So make sure you're watching that replay and you're going through and you're seeing it. If any of you are, were missing it earlier, you got on later, anyone that may need to see that replay. Also check your emails for all of the communication back and forth with in a book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And when I read this, and I don't want to get too foofy or whatever you want to call it, but I do know neuroscience is a real thing. I believe in it, and I believe in the science of my body. And I also believe in the power of creation and the power of your version of whatever prayer looks like. And for me, that version has taken different aspects throughout my life. And when I read Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, he taught me to pray for my previous self, which I've never done up to that point. So I'll start the emotional part for me. 14 years ago, I was an opiate addict. And I've been clean ever since. Anyone going through what you're going through, you can get there to the other side. I'm there right now. I remember one day, opiates are terrible. I was at the Beverly Hills Hotel, and we just had this amazing event in Los Angeles. And I go back to my hotel, and my team was all heading out to go to lunch or to dinner. And I went back to my room and I went through my procedure or whatever you want to call it that I was doing to myself at the time. And I woke up about 2 hours later in this state where I was kind of crumpled and laying to the side of my bed. And I don't know how, at the moment, I didn't know how long I was out. I just knew that I had survived and I was awake. I didn't know how I got through. And then I read that book. And he said, go pray for yourself in the past. Go find yourself in the past. And you say, go do the right things. Go make good choices. So that's what I did. I remember going into this meditation that Joe Dispenza had talked about. And as I did, I sat there and I went to that room. And I sat with myself. 6, 7 years in the future. But I sat with myself in the past. And I said, Robbie, you got this. Keep going. You're going to do this. You're going to kick it. You're going to get to the next place in your life where this is no longer your pain, but you've conquered this. And I remember sitting there looking in my eyes, my own eyes, and saying, do the right things right now. Do whatever you can, but know that when you do, 5 years from now, you're going to be in a better place. I know that I feel in my soul that I saved myself that day. Now I share this because 5 years from now, you've got lots of conversations with yourself. How many of you are in this business for a lot longer than 5 years from now? Raise your hands. Keep them up. How many of you are committed to this business for 10 years? 15, 20, 50, 120 like Eric, right? Commitment's important. 5 years from now, you look at yourself and you say, you got here. What decisions would you tell yourself 5 years from now? What decisions would you tell yourself to make right now so that 5 years from now you look back with power? I appreciate you letting me share my background and my story. I'm grateful to be on the other side. I want you to know that I believe in you, and that is my purpose, is to believe in you. And I am so grateful that I have had this opportunity to be with you over these last few days. We got one more day. I'm so excited for that. Make sure you're here early. Get here on time. For any of you here who are listening online, thank you for staying all the way here and giving me an extra 2 minutes to tell my story. Make sure you're here bright and early. Thank you so much for this evening. Stand up, keep that music down though. Stand up if you could. Thank you. Now, Eric is going to be taking pictures up here. So I know a lot of people are grabbing forms to get started and be on leadership. What a great opportunity to get that done. For those of you who've gotten started on one of those packages, you're going to congregate over there, and then you'll be able to jump in to a picture with